Tonight, from the neon-soaked aisles of the last video store, it's a once-in-a-lifetime celebration. For 200 episodes, Jason has ranked, reviewed, and rewound the greatest and the grimiest cinema ever committed to tape. And now, the spotlight turns to the outrageous, the raunchy, the unforgettable world of 1980s sex comedies. Plus, special messages from friends and fans who've been along for the ride. It's a cinematic showdown, it's a milestone party, and it all starts right now on Binge Movies 200.
We are rewinding to the darkest era of the VHS years, the unholy wasteland known as the 80s sex comedy. 5 films, countless crimes against good taste, and crimes against law. This wasn't just a phase, it was a movement. A movement of sweaty palm screenwriters and checked-out producers weaponizing predation for profit. These films confuse humiliation for humor, sexual assault for slapstick, and trauma for titillation. They offer the male gaze uncut, unfiltered, and completely unburdened by consent, decency, or any ounce of introspection. And yet, they were hits. Cultural touchstones played on loop at sleepovers, bachelor parties, and the kind of video stores that had staff pick sections. We're not just watching these movies, we're digging through the dirty hamper of American adolescence at its absolute ugliest. This is the cinematic id of a nation that put revenge in the title and made it synonymous with sex. Welcome to Ronald Reagan's America, and it only gets worse from here. Claire?
Hi.
I'm sorry.
That's how you opened this call.
It is.
And as I pointed out twice, you did this, not me. You chose these movies, not me.
I know.
I feel like I had a better time with them than you, based on your current demeanor, so that makes me feel better.
I feel legitimately nauseous.
I just love that you were like, 80s male American sex comedies. Who am I picking? A white woman from England who wasn't even alive when these were made.
What better person than a white Irish woman living in England? Although I suppose, you're a bit of both, eh?
I consider myself English.
Yeah.
My parents get very angry when I say that because they are pure Irish, but I grew up in England, so I consider myself English.
Gotcha. Who was not alive during this decade, but who has expertise in watching some of the worst movies ever made. And we've talked before about how you're younger than I am, not significantly, but younger, and how the generation after you is puritanical and terrified of sex, and that you and I don't understand that. And we've talked about other movies.
I will say, like, not to ruin any of our conversation, but as I said to you before we started recording, like, I actually didn't find these as bad as I thought I would. My expectations were on the floor. But what it also did make me think, there was a lot less sex in these films than I had expected.
Yes.
Because I came of age in the late 90s, so I grew up with American Pie, Road Trip, Euro Trip, like all of those really, and I was like, oh, maybe the kids are right. Maybe movies now are raunchier, because these didn't feel as raunchy to me as I expected. But then I did also reflect that I watched every single Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street movie last year, so maybe I'm just used to boobs for the sake of boobs.
That could be, but you and I are both fans of boobs too. But I will tell you this, that by the end of this, I was sitting with my significant other who watched all these movies with me, who's also a fan of boobs. And I said, I don't want to see another pair of boobs on screen. I'm tired of seeing, I'm all tittied out. And she was like, me too. She was like, I love a good pair of boobs, but I don't.
See, I did not watch these with my significant other, so maybe I've missed a trick there. He left as I started watching them and came home like half an hour after I finished the last one. So he missed all of them, and I know it was on purpose, but I'm like, damn, maybe I should make him do it as penance.
Maybe. I just couldn't. I think just sitting alone in the dark as a man watching these for 10 hours, I think that would have put me on some kind of a list.
It made me sad when my very cute and innocent kitten came and laid next to me while I watched Hot Dog, and there was an orgy scene that made me uncomfortable. And I was like, I don't really want my cat watching this. He was very invested in the skiing, though. He kept getting up and hitting the screen whenever they skied. So he was a semi-fan.
So if you are like Claire and you are 24 years old and you're just living your life and you don't know what the 80s were or what 86...
I'm 35, but thank you.
Same difference to me. You get to a certain age, anybody that's not 50 is 20.
Okay.
There's a common trope in all these movies. It's usually horny virgins who are trying to lose their virginity, who are peeping toms, who look in peepholes. The worst thing to be in any of these movies is fat. The second worst thing to be is a virgin. There's repeated music cues where almost all of these movies have one or two of the same songs, which is kind of crazy.
I did really enjoy all the soundtracks, though. Like, there were some bops.
Some of them were killer, and you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. We'll get into that. There's repeated, there's a lot of the same kind of dialogue of like, oh, she wants it. She really wants it. And it's like, oh, God. It's like, it's very much like, oh, she's hot for it. She's hot for it. She says she isn't, but whoa, look at her. She is.
Yeah, I think I remember which one it was, but in one of them, there's a scene where she's literally going, no, as she's sticking his hand up her shirt. And I'm like, well, that's not teaching anyone anything good.
No. And there's usually a nymphomaniac or bimbo of some kind.
Often older
and very rapey.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get into that. And they all kind of have the same kind of gist to them. A few of them have a few tricks up their sleeves, which we can talk about of whether or not they're successful at executing what I think are some of the ideas in their mind. And some of them don't have a single idea on their mind other than boners and tits.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we just start with arguably the most famous, maybe the actual progenitor in the way that with the 80s sex comedy was the 80s slasher, which you just talked about with Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. Mm-hmm. Most slashers were Friday the 13th ripoffs, even though Friday the 13th was a Halloween ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
Most sex comedies are a Porky's ripoff, even though Porky's was an Animal House ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to kind of talk about the Friday the 13th of terrible racist sex comedies. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. They're all real fucking racist.
Oh, yeah. And just for, no reason.
Zero reason.
I guess, really want to remind everyone that America was super racist, and the was has a little asterisk at the end of that. 2025.
So let's start with, it's not Black Christmas. It's not A Christmas Story. It's Porky's, which currently has a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Greetings from dry, arid Utah, where they don't allow caffeine. Jason, this is Darren of Nostalgia Cast and Back to Blue. I just wanted to congratulate you on 200 game-changing episodes. We tell you all the time, we have to bring our A game when we have conversations with you because you always bring your A game, and that's something that we strive to match. You are it's going to sound bad, sacrilegious to say this and where I'm calling from, but you are a god among podcasters, and I just want you to know that you are an inspiration to me. I always end up changed, always end up wanting to be a better podcaster because of every episode of Binge Movies that you record. I know you say you're not going to make it to 300 episodes, but I really hope you do. Love you, man.
In our commercial for the new motion picture comedy Porky's, we can only show you the outside of Porky's because what happens inside is not to be believed. We can only show you this much of the locker room scene, this much of the cabin scene. But we can tell you when you see Porky's, you'll be seeing the funniest movie about growing up ever made. Porky's. You too will be back for a second look. Rated R. Starts Friday, March 19th at a selected theater near you.
Porky's was directed by Bob Clark with a screenplay by Bob Clark. It's a triumphant return of Kim Cattrall, who was seen in something I can't remember, but now you know why she was cast in Sex and the City.
I mean, honestly, yes. I was like, oh, that's just Samantha Jones.
Yes, 100%. This film was released November 13th, 1981, only in South Carolina, but it was released across the United States in March 19th of 1982. So that describes the discrepancy in its dates. And a budget of between $4 and $5 million. Listen to this number. Made $160 million.
Look, it's got white boys and tits. What more did America want? What more does America still want?
I'm going to start with the most controversial question I can. I left this movie with a bit of an existential crisis. And this was, am I Team Porky?
Oh.
Am I on Porky's side?
I 100% am on Porky's side. Porky's a horrible person, but the kids are worse.
Right?
My letterboxd review and my summary of this film is a bunch of entitled teenage boys destroy a local small business because they weren't allowed to break the law. He just said, you're underage, no you can't drink in my bar, and no you can't sleep with my dancers. And they went, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to destroy your entire livelihood and ruin your life because I'm a horny little 16-year-old and I want to shag a prostitute.
Yes. Whoa! So I want to cover this. Porky is racist coded, right? He's Confederate flags. He's the bad guy because he's fat. Mm-hmm. So he's this big fat guy that makes him evil by default. And then he has a bunch of Confederate flags, which is signaling to us. This movie takes place in the 50s, I think. And it is in Florida. And down sort of in the Everglades, there's this cat house, basically, this roadhouse / brothel for Southern degenerates. And the guy who owns it is this big boss hog looking guy named Porky. And his brother is a local sheriff, and he's racist and corrupt and whatever. And it's every stereotype of the South you could possibly imagine. Mm-hmm. And these sort of more suburbanite, yuppie kids from a beach town in Florida. There's one guy who's a virgin, and they're all super horny. It's all they are is horny and racist. And one of them is a virgin, and his name's Pee-wee because he has a needle dick, and he's got a tiny, tiny penis, and it seems to be shrinking, and he wants to lose his virginity so bad. And it's all of these machinations, and he keeps fucking it up. So finally, as a last resort, 45 fucking minutes, it felt like in this movie, they go, let's go to Porky's, the titular eponymous name of the fucking movie. It takes forever to get there. And you think, okay, that's going to be the plot from here on out. They go to Porky's exactly one fucking time.
For like 2 minutes?
For 2 minutes. Porky says, I'll lose my liquor license if I serve you guys booze. And I'm not letting you into the brothel part of the business because you're kids. And then a bigoted, racist hillbilly is like, I can handle Porky. I'm a big man. And he's like, well, we'll give you some money and we want to have a gangbang and da-da-da-da. And you're like, Jesus Christ. These are our heroes. And he's like, okay, give me $100. I'll give you 2 girls for 30 minutes instead of 5 girls for an hour or whatever. Just go in that room over there and just wait. And then he pulls a prank on them and he drops them into the Everglades. Then they laugh and that's it.
I don't say and now I am very on the record for being anti-prank. I hate all pranks. Yes. I think they're stupid. Yes. I think they're idiotic. But again, their retaliation to said prank, too far.
Porky is not in the movie again until the very end of the movie. Mm-hmm. The Porky's location is not in the movie again until the very end of the movie. The only thing that's in the movie is that hillbilly who talked a bunch of shit to his friends about how he knew how to get sex workers and was a liar. And he felt personally humiliated. So he kept off screen driving back to Porky's and trying to pick a fight and coming back progressively more and more beat up. While there other hijinks ensue.
Well, there's a whole subplot about Kim Cattrall's gym teacher fucking another gym teacher. And
because she's a nymphomaniac for sweat socks.
And then what did they say that she sounds like? A werewolf or something?
Lassie.
Yeah.
Because she howls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was worthy of everyone's time.
The only little caveat I'll give the Kim Cattrall thing, because again,
she's great. Allow her to do what she wants. But I was like, isn't this film meant to be about the boys? Why is there a weird subplot about the gym teachers fucking?
That's a great question. Well, I would say, isn't this movie supposed to be about Porky's? But it isn't. And then the kid comes back and he's beat up, and they're like, hey, stop going to Porky's because they're going to really beat you up. And they're just playing around with you now, but eventually they're going to get sick of you going there and trying to stir up shit, and they'll really hurt you. And he's like, fuck him, I'm a man. And he gets back in his truck and he goes, but there gets even more beat up. And then he gets real, real beat up, and they're like, that's enough of that. We're going to go destroy Porky's business, sink it into the Florida Everglades, blow it up, nearly kill the police. Yes, they're corrupt. Yes, they're bigots. Yes, they're racist. But
they've got corrupt police on their side too.
Correct.
The idiot boy's brother is the sheriff and helps them do it. So there's corrupt police on every side.
The movie does not do a good enough job establishing Porky as an antagonist. And to justify this, they're literally traveling across counties to go harass this businessman over $100 in their humiliation. That's it.
Yeah. And again, it's
because they feel entitled. They feel entitled to sex.
You shouldn't have taken your money. I get it. You want a refund. I hate paying for stuff that I don't get. But like, you shouldn't have been there. You shouldn't have tried. You're trying to commit an illegal act while defrauding. So you've got underage, fake IDs, trying to drink, and then trying to do prostitution, which I'm pretty sure is still illegal over there. Yeah. So like, you're doing all the law things. You're lucky all you got was $100 taken off of you. Like that's the least of what could and should have happened to you. But you know. They won, woo, and everyone cheered, and then everyone had sex with everyone because that's how it goes.
Yeah, there's not enough establishment for the level of the boys' personal vendetta.
Mm-hmm. But I found there wasn't enough establishment of the boys at all. Like at no point could I remember who was who.
I don't know who's who.
I was like, they are all Pee-wee. You could tell because he was so annoying and had all the awkward one-liners.
Bingo.
And then there was the big meathead one that wanted to get into like Yale or something.
Princeton.
And I was like,
because he had a horse cock.
Yeah, and I'm like, why does this guy think he can get into Princeton?
It's never established.
And then there's just a load of other interchangeable ones. I'm like, there's too many boys. It's too many boys.
Big meaty man slapping meat.
There's 8 boys that are entirely interchangeable, and then they drop 2 subplots in, other than the Kim Cattrall, where one of the boys is Jewish and new at school, and one of the other boys in the group is a bigot, an anti-Semite, racist bigot. But he's also being abused by his father. So this...
And they like to drop that and then remember it like an hour later for another random scene and then forget it again. And you're like, oh, whoa. Whose dad is that? Why are we yelling?
Yeah, and so it's like... Yeah. So then you're like, oh, this is going to be hijinks and pranks and getting pantsed in the woods and ha, we're all just trying to get laid. And oh yeah,
we missed out the entire section. Like, I don't know if you can spoil a movie that's like
50 years old.
Yeah. But like there's a random scene where they all get naked together and measure each other's dicks. Or is that a different film where they measure each other's dicks? There was a lot of dick measuring in many of these films.
Big meaty man slapping meat. That's what I want.
But there is a random scene where they all get naked in a cabin together and then they pay a black man to dress up like a homeless person and chase them all through the woods with a machete. Cause
they get Cherry Forever. They go to a shack in the Everglades in the woods. And then they get a guy who works for one of the white guy's fathers. They pay him to play a big, scary black guy and chase them with a machete because white teens are inherently scared of black people in the 1950s. And yeah, but they're all naked because they're all... and we just have to say, this is one of probably 3 or 4 of these movies in which boys get naked to run a train on a woman.
Yeah, so that was both the thing that I was sad I wasn't watching this with my boyfriend, and also very grateful I wasn't watching this with my boyfriend, because I really wanted to ask, as someone that went to an all-boys school, how much of that is based in reality? And then I thought, I'm glad I don't know.
My girlfriend made the comment. She made the comment of something like, they're just going to sit around naked with each other, but they're not going to put their clothes back on while they're waiting. And I said, no, they would just sit there naked.
And that's like completely bizarre to me.
That's what she said. And I was like, as homophobic as most men are, there is also a layer of homoeroticism to teenage.
We're all going to get laid together.
We're all going to get laid together. We're all going to get hard-ons. We're all going to measure each other's dicks. We're all going to touch each other's balls and poke each other and ball tag and all this sort of stick our fingers in each other's butts, and like swipe like credit cards. There's just this level of, homoeroticism and homophobia that's in all of these movies and is in teen boys, or at least used to be. As far back as the 90s, I can remember that still being a thing. Yeah. So I have stories I will not tell to protect the innocent that were not involving me, but things I saw. I was like, Jesus Christ. Look, listen, circle jerks exist for a reason.
And let me tell you, I went to an all-girls school. They didn't exist there. There were lesbians in the toilets, and you just knew not to go to certain toilets. But love is love.
Love is love.
But
That's right.
We weren't circle fingering or whatever that whatever that would have consisted of.
Yeah, that's the funny. And those guys would be like, "Well, it's not gay," because they just can't reconcile their homophobia with their experimentation or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that there's a piece of me that gets what I think Bob Clark was kind of trying maybe to do, because there is this emphasis on the racism and the bigotry and the misogyny and the stupidity of these boys and all this sort of stuff. It's very slight. There was in America, there was this kind of reclaiming of the 1950s as this ideal period where everybody was happy and everybody was prosperous and people were innocent and pure and,
they all went to diners and ate milkshakes and high-fived.
Yeah, and there was no premarital sex and nobody smoked cigarettes and nobody, the kids of the 80s, everything is so lewd and crass. And I think the idea of going, actually, teenagers have always been stupid and horny and lewd, and America has always been racist and cruel and sex-obsessed, and the 50s were as depraved as any other period. Teens are always teens, and America. Here's the real ugly side of 1950s America with the veneer taken off. I think that is actually intentional on Bob Clark's part, because he's basically telling teenagers in the 1980s, your parents are full of shit when they tell you that they weren't horny teens.
Yeah,
they were. Your mom fucked your dad in the back of a Cadillac at a makeout point. That's how you were conceived, or whatever. But the problem is, while it's critiquing the 50s, it's also still trying to be an outrageous 80s sex comedy. And so the critique loses power because it's actually kind of glorifying. It's like critiquing the conservative view of the 50s, which was the resurgence in the 80s. It was critiquing conservatism while kind of reaffirming a lot of the misogynistic patriarchal views of conservatism. It's very strange. And I don't like to over politicize like fucking Porky's, but I couldn't help it as I was watching this movie, because the movie kept wanting to insert social commentary into this sex comedy of like, well, anti-Semitism is
smart
bad.
enough to do it.
No, that's right. It's like it wants to say anti-Semitism is bad. Bigotry is bad. Sometimes kids aren't bad. They just come from bad homes and are being abused, and this is what's really going on. And here's what's under the veneer of here's what America really is. But it also wants you to laugh at all that stuff. It's not funny.
Yeah, that's it. It was. There's another film in this series that towed the line between comedy and serious drama.
Yes.
And it did it so much better.
Agreed.
And I think it's because it streamlined it down. It was a group of 3, but it focuses on one main character, so you can get to the nitty-gritty, you get to know them better. Whereas this, it was overstuffed because it was, let's go all in on the jokes, and then you could see where they tried to build in some characterization, but nothing had time to breathe.
It's so loud and obnoxious too. Every character is loud and obnoxious, and it's not consistent to a point. Like, some of the teen girls seem to have some kind of autonomy and agency in Porky's.
Outside of the shower scenes, which are very rapey, very peeping Tom, and I have genuine concerns about how many men out there dabble in peeping Tomness. Worrying.
It's even in Back to the Future.
Well, I have so many issues with that.
I know you do. I know you
do. But I did feel like, like a lot of the girls in this, like, seemed to enjoy sex and were actively vocal about how much they enjoyed having sex. Yeah. I didn't love, was her name Cherry? The girl that goes with Pee-wee at the end?
Wendy.
Wendy. Oh, okay, yeah. And she seemed to be very, like, pro, I like having sex, I like doing this. But she did feel a bit coerced into having sex with it at the end, which was a bit like, like, she's sort of choosing to, but she's also being peer pressured into. But up until that point, I did feel for the most part like the girls were openly proud of having sex. And even the Kim Cattrall character, as nymphomaniac-y as it was, she was happy to have sexual agency.
Yeah, and so that's where it gets... I agree. I agree with her. It sort of gets a little muddled because it kind of wants to play it both ways where, okay, it wants to have the scene where the boys are peeping and they see they're trying to see the hot bodies of what are ostensibly teenage girls, and we as the audience are theoretically, obviously they're like 27 years old, but we're watching 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds in the logic of the
context.
movie. Yeah. And then but it also wants to be like the girls kind of get their the boys get their comeuppance because the girls are like, rather than shriek and run away, they're like, fuck this, and they start pranking them back. And then obviously one of them gets his knob pretty much yanked off by the lesbian coded obese ugly woman.
Yeah, God forbid a woman carries a bit of weight.
Yeah, and then right, like we have like they want to see the hot bodies, but there's the other teen girl in there who is normally proportioned, maybe slightly overweight. They're like, oh, this lard ass, this fat fuck's got to get out of the way so I can do this lewd gesture to these attractive women. And then the women's gym coach, again, the lesbian coded, and what we talked about is like the whole movie is sex obsessed. Even the woman who's anti-sex is obsessed with sex to the point
She's obsessed with the penis.
To the point that at the end she sexually assaults a minor because she's lurking in the fucking bushes, jumps out, and then grabs his dick and starts yanking on it to a underage boy, pulling his pants down. And so we were both like, oh, this movie and all of the movies on this list basically make the argument that men can't really control themselves. Because of that, because men are so horny, whatever they do towards women is mostly okay. Like there's a line in almost all of these movies where we go, well, that's not okay. But
boys will be boys.
Yeah, it's boys will be boys. And since boys will be boys, if they're molested or traumatized themselves, it's funny. Right? So it's romantic if a man molests a woman because they'll just end up falling in love with the guy.
Yeah.
And if a boy's molested, it's funny because boys want sex. So if a woman grabs a boy's dick or forces him into sex or plies him with liquor, it's fine. Ha.
That's society, and I think it's followed us through until maybe the last 10 years something's changed. But like when you look at the American Pie films, there's a lot of like inappropriate sexual interactions to men, and again, it's, if you look at it in the right context, it's rape, and you look at it in the context of the film, it's hilarious.
It's hilarious. Yep.
And I think, and it's that old thing of like when a male teacher sleeps with a female student, that's statutory rape. It's disgusting. It's paedophilia. When a young boy sleeps with a female teacher, it's every man's dream come true. Aren't you lucky? Aren't you a stud? You're a man now. And, that for the most part, up until the last 5 or 10 years, I think has continued. So it's not surprising a film like this is very down that line, and all of these films are.
Yeah. You're right. You're spot on. I know that people don't want to tune into a Porky's episode to hear a critique of society, but
look, if they see my name on this, they know where it's going.
The funny thing though is I kept thinking, I started screaming at the TV to this. I think it's Mickey or Mick or whatever, the guy, the hillbilly who keeps, he's like, south of the Mason-Dixon line, and he just says a bunch of racist shit. He's the one that keeps going and getting his ass kicked at Porky's off screen. And I just kept going, stop going there. Stop going to Porky's. What the fuck are you doing? Even his friends, his brother, everybody's like, just leave him alone.
But like, also, you're like going to defend your $100. How much petrol? Like, I don't know how cheap gas was in the 50s in America, but like,
that's a good point. Yeah,
that's got to be costing you some time and some energy. And like, you guys don't have free healthcare, so like, is he not going to the hospital for those injuries?
He's not. He's definitely not. And I thought of the line from one of the Marvel movies where it's like, Mick could not live with his own failure. So where did it bring him? Back to Porky. And I don't want to rewrite this movie, but I'm going to real quick.
You love rewriting movies.
I do. Here's how I would rewrite this movie where it's still offensive. Let's keep all the mostly offensive stuff intact and just give it a plot that makes sense.
It wouldn't be an 80s movie without it.
Correct. Come on. I'm not trying to make it woke or anything. They're on a basketball team or some shit, and that's not really. Imagine they play an away game and they they get a flat tire or their bus or whatever. They have to walk into town, into a county they've never been to. And they stumble in this place called Porky's. And it's raucous, and it's every teenage boy's dream of booze and tits, because it's all teenage boys want is alcohol and breasts. And they get bullied, harassed, beat up, kicked on their ass, and thrown out. They go to the cops to try to get some help. The cop is in on it. He's worse. And then he fucks up their car or their bus even more, and he swindles them and he robs them. And now the boys like want revenge because the cop and the whatever. Okay, that's something, right? Mm-hmm. You know, we're going to bring this dirty pimp down for being a dirty racist pimp, and we're going to bring down his brother and, you know, whatever. And there's hijinks ensue, and they start with a little bit of a prank, and you have what's known as the escalation of stakes and rising stakes, which is the screenplays are supposed to have. And then, you know, Porky responds and the cop responds, and it gets more and more out of control until they really cross the line, and they get one of the boys who's nowhere near Porky. They sneak attack him and put him in the hospital. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And now we need to get our revenge. Yeah. You know, that's when we're going to. Now, I still don't know if you should swim with chainsaws and cut the thing down and blow it up, but still, that would make sense. Then in between, there's all these teenage hijinks about not getting into Princeton and eating chili and getting drunk or whatever, and pulling pranks on each other and skinny dipping and mooning people or whatever else. Okay, that's a movie. Mm-hmm. This is, they go to Porky's takes their money, they try to rape a bunch of women, or think they're going to get the opportunity to rape a bunch of women. They're really into gangbangs, and then none of them work out for them, and then there's a made-for-TV special about not being racist and anti-Semitic, half-heartedly done, and then they go and they literally just do a war crime on Porky's, who we haven't seen in an hour. And then the movie ends with like, we did it! And it's like, what was accomplished?
It's like a homecoming parade. Like, all the cheerleaders are there and everything. And I'm like, well, the cheerleaders not think that they were fucking pathetic for trying to pay for sex?
Exactly. It's so strange. It's very strange. So
I'm assuming you haven't seen either of the sequels.
I have seen Porky's Revenge. And
okay.
I've not seen whatever the third one is.
Does Porky get his revenge?
I don't remember, because this is going to really blow your mind. These movies just aired on TV, edited. Mm-hmm. They just aired on TV throughout the 90s.
Happy New Year! There's a party going on. It's USA's New Year's Eve Marathon Porky's Party. All the fun. All the fireworks. And all the zany antics from those wacky kids at Angel Beach High. What better way to usher in the new year? More fun than one. Better than two. It's a triple helping of Porky's on USA's New Year's Eve Marathon Porky's Party. Next.
When I lived in Florida for 3 months when I was a teenager, and it blew my mind that I was just flipping through the channels at like 2 p.m. in the day and American Pie was just on, but with all the sex edited out.
Like, what's the point?
Yeah, literally. Like, we have a watershed over here. You can't show shit like that until after 9 p.m., but then you get to actually watch it.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense. No, we just chop it up.
Yeah, it was very confusing.
Until it's pointless, and then stick it on at 1 o'clock afternoon for kids to watch. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I grew up watching Porky's was on heavy rotation here, just like that. Revenge of the Nerds was. Usually they show Porky's and Revenge of the Nerds double billed.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's full of body shaming, queer shaming, and all kind of stuff. So, I don't know, man. I think that I think my scores are going to be too high, but my scores are partially based on I solicited from someone else and said, what would you give this movie? Mm-hmm, and here's what I would give it. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag here. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give Porky's a 4.5 out of 10. It feels too generous, and it's my third of the week.
I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. I was originally going to go 3.5, and that felt too harsh, so I boosted it up to 4.
Yeah.
It's my worst of the week.
Holy shit.
Yeah. it was the first one I started with. And also, it was realistically of all of the ones, the one that I know the most. Like, I've heard of Porky's.
Yes.
Porky's is infamous. Porky's is the one. When American Pie came out, it's modern day Porky's. And I was like, this is your champion? Like... So, like, I think
it's very ramshackle. Just from a movie perspective, it looks like shit.
I think that's why it's my worst of the week, because some of the other ones are cheaper, they have worse politics, all that sort of stuff. But at least they had characterization. Some of them barely, but they had also like plots and cohesion. Whereas, I can't believe this is like the one that was heralded as like the golden one, because it feels cheap as shit.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
All right, it's time to move on to a movie that has probably the best soundtrack of any movie of maybe the 80s that you've maybe never heard of. I was like one hit after another. It was wild. We're talking about 1982's The Last American Virgin, which has 77% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Nobody has more fun than The Last American Virgin.
Me?
It's about hope.
Tonight could really be the big night.
And dreams. The highs and lows.
You're not going to get anything from me.
The ups and downs of growing up. The Last American Virgin, a comedy about friendship, love, and everything in between. The Last American Virgin. See it or be it. From Canon Releasing.
Now playing at theaters and drive-ins near you.
Last American Virgin was directed by Boaz Davidson with a screenplay by Boaz Davidson. It was released July 30th, 1982. On a budget of not available, it made $5.8 million at the box office. I think that this is a remake of an Israeli movie called Lemon Popsicle. Is that right?
It is. I read that earlier.
Yeah. I just somehow know that because Menachem Golan is a weird like hobby horse for me, and this was a Golan Globus film. And he was involved or directed or wrote the Lemon Popsicle or whatever. Had you ever heard of this one? Because we know you've heard of Porky's. Has this made its way? Is there a last
name?
Ooh, is there a last British Virgin?
No. I knew the name though, but I didn't know anything about it. I'd heard of Porky's, Last American Virgin, and Revenge of the Nerds. Spoilers for later.
Yes.
The other two I'd never heard of. But no, this one I couldn't have told you what it was about. I just recognised the name because I think it comes up on it's like a cult classic now.
Yeah.
So.
Are Brits as sex obsessed as Americans are?
I think we're worse. I think we're hornier.
But are you guys also
we're not as
puritanical?
No, so that's it. I think we're just up front more into like sex jokes and stuff because we don't have that puritanicalness. But then remember that I grew up Irish Catholic, so I don't have the other side of the real shame.
Fair enough, yeah.
But no, I think the British are sexier, hornier, but because we don't have that puritanical, so I don't think we do go as hard then when we let loose. You guys have all this hard raunch. We're right next to Europe. Europe, people be doing crazy weird stuff. We don't need our own sex comedies. You turn on any French film and you'll see the weirdest sex acts you've ever seen in your life.
And then our sexual proclivities come out through perverse media, like sex comedies and weird porn.
Yeah, whereas we made sex slapstick. So no one talks about actual sex, but do you know the Carry On films?
No.
Right, so Carry On films is God, I think there's 30 of them. They were a real thing, I want to say, in the 50s and 60s. Apologies if my math is wrong there, if there's some British historian on there. But there's Carry On Camping, Carry On War, Carry On This. And it's just a load of men doing a load of things and then a couple of women and they're always getting their boobs out. And it's always very silly and slapstick and cream pies on the boobs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And they're a massive part of much older British culture. But yeah, we made bodies silly.
Yes, and we've made them sort of taboo. Mm-hmm. And therefore, because there's a taboo, there's this weird thrill of breaking that taboo. And what you forget is that those bodies are people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, we have a similar thing in that, like, it's very common here to just like get your ass smacked in public, and it's like cool, and it's just walking to the bar, but
is it really?
Oh god, Jeff, I've yelled at so many men. Like one of my friends was nearly thrown out of a bar because we were yelling at a guy for smacking her ass, and the bouncer was like, "Stop yelling in the club," and we were like, "Well, tell him to stop smacking us in the club." And that's like, again, I'm old now. I'm in my mid-30s. I don't go to the clubs anymore, but like in the 2010s, like, every night someone would either grope my butt or stick their hand up my skirt and things like that. Like, no one was following me to the toilet to rape me or things like that, but just like having a honk is not, because it's just silly. Oh, it's just a joke, love. It's like, no, that's my body.
Did you say having a honk?
Having a honk, yeah. Just a whoop.
Is that a phrase?
Yeah, do you not have honk a boob?
No.
Oh. Yeah, you honk, like, have a little honk.
So you're at a club, a dance club or a bar, pub, whatever, with your friends.
Yeah.
And a random dude just grabs your tit.
Rarely the tits in the club, mostly the butt.
Wow.
Oh god, even when I lived in Dubai, because again, I went mental in Dubai because I was like, that's actually fucking against the law here. I mean, I think it's against the law in England anyway, but like, especially in Dubai. But yeah, no, men just feel very much entitled to like grab women's bodies in public because, and again, especially in a bar, because it's very easy to get away with it because there's so many hands that, oh, wasn't me, love, but they think it's cheeky. Like, sex is very cheeky in the UK.
I think that's kind of the tone and tenor of this, though, when you have a guy with a girl on a couch clearly disassociating, uncomfortable in her bra, and she's just like
eating the chips,
literally staring off into space and terrified, and he doesn't give a shit, and he's going to cut her bra off with a pair of scissors to get what he doesn't even really want because, of course, she's coded as being ugly because she's heavy and nerdy.
Do you know what annoyed me the most about that? He's obviously disappointed that he gets the quote-unquote fat chick. One of the boys is quote-unquote fat. Why can't he have the fat chick?
Okay, so I thought that was the way it was going to line up because there was basically there was the boy slut.
Yeah.
There was the our guy Gary, I guess, our protagonist, who's kind
too
of
pure
dumb
for this earth.
Yeah. And then there's that heavyset guy, and I thought it was going to line up with the blonde with the big boobs. They're going to go with Gary. The girl who was clearly like dressed like she was in Greece, as my girlfriend said, who was like hot to trot, right? Yeah. She's the slutty one. So slutty one's going to go with the slutty boy. Slutty girl, slutty boy. Kind of nice girl, nice guy. Fat girl, fat guy. And then the fact that they didn't work out that way, I wonder if it was almost on purpose to kind of subvert expectations.
Maybe. Because
I have a slight theory about this movie, and you can call complete bullshit on me because we're going to put on your film studies hat for a second here to talk about the last American version. I think this movie rope-a-doped me because I had never seen it. I had heard of it, but I had never seen it. And the first half is a 80s sex comedy, and the fact that it follows a lot of those tropes to the point of like the 3 guys coerce 3 girls to come to a quote unquote party when there isn't a party. They give them drugs, which is actually like sweet and low or whatever. And they're storing it and they're all pretending it's cocaine. The girls don't know any different. And the girls are saying no, but they really mean yes. And then they all start fooling around. And then, like you said, it's cheeky so that even though, especially like the one girl is like not comfortable at all, the fact that like the parents come home and this whatever, we're all naked and we're all running around, it's played as like now we're all friends, we're all laughing, we're all going to go enjoy the rest of our night in the car and go to the beach and go have fun, right? Which is not really like if a girl's telling you no and you're still sticking your tongue down her throat and trying to cut her bra off, she's not going to be your friend afterwards. She's not going to be like, oh, ha, 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 it was all fun and games. That's how these movies play this sort of stuff. So I thought, oh God, here we go again. And it kind of does that. And then he's objectifying this woman who doesn't even know that he exists, Karen. And he's like in love with her and he feels entitled to be with her for no apparent reason. And he asks her out and she already has plans. She says maybe some other time. And he never gets the balls to really even talk to her again for another hour. He doesn't ask her out again. His buddy ends up kind of canoodling with her. He's all in his feelings about it. And more sex hijinks, including a woman effectively committing statutory rape. Because she gives 3 minors liquor and then fucks them one by one. And then her minority boyfriend comes home and he's real upset and he chases them all through time. Because the only thing scarier for white kids than being a virgin is a minority being angry at you because they're animals and they'll tear you apart. And you're thinking, okay, this is all the same tropes, all the same tropes, all the same tropes. And then the movie does this pivot. And it almost goes, here's what teenage boys and what the movies think sex is. It's consequence free. It doesn't really matter. And then here's more of what it really is. And the coming of age for him, the losing of his innocence, the losing of his virginity isn't really about the sex. It's about just because you're a nice guy once doesn't mean you get to have what you want.
Yeah.
And the movie ends with this guy who is still entitled, so much so that he learns he's willing to cut a woman's bra off. And then yet, when he has the girl of his dreams, he's learned to see her enough as a human being that he will pull her shirt down. But the moment she's nice to him,
he thinks they're together.
He thinks they're together, which is so how dudes are.
Yeah.
And it shows that like even underneath like his like, oh, I'll take care of you, I'll do this, I'll do that, like the nice guy kind of routine, even though he kind of tricked himself into thinking he's a nice guy, he was still entitled.
Yeah. It's tough because like I felt for him, like, fuck you, Karen. Like, what a stupid bitch you are going back to that guy.
It's a bad decision on her part.
Yeah. But she didn't make any promises to Gary. She didn't
lead him on at all.
No.
And even if she had, he's not entitled to anything.
But also, like, she's literally going through one of the most vulnerable things a woman could go through in the entire, like, life. And then he thinks that's the time to make the move because she's vulnerable. So Correct. It's like, that's skeezy. Like,
and the movie, I don't want to say it punishes him, but the movie goes, okay, just because you grew a little bit doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Here's reality, kid.
Yeah.
Like, you're not entitled to be with anybody. Nobody's entitled to love. Nobody's required to love you or want to fuck you. And just because you have these big feelings for this person who you don't know, who you've never really talked to, this is all in your head. You don't know the actual person. You haven't taken the time to actually get to know her. And, oh, that cool guy who's your friend, who can get any girl he wants, like when it pulls back reality on it, he's a piece of shit.
All of these movies really made me question male friendships and also how monogamy works in teenage men, because like he was with Karen, but he was also sleeping with prostitutes every 5 minutes, and it was like, oh, okay, so monogamy is questionable in these films, and like that was across a lot of the films. Anyone that had a steady girl was still going off with girls whenever they could, because I guess it didn't count.
And God forbid the girl do that though, because the guys always get upset in the movies. They go, wait a minute, what do you mean? Yeah. And so I think the movie is maybe slightly more clever.
I gave this one a lot of respect, especially for even having an abortion storyline in a teen comedy in the 80s. I was trying to find some like write-ups of it from the time. Unfortunately, most of the ones that I could find are retrospective talking about it, because I really wanted to know, like, how did that go down in the 80s? Like, it felt like a bit of a switcheroo, like you said. Like, you were getting a raunchy teen comedy and these boys are gonna, they're gonna go and have sex with anyone that moves, and the sexy Portuguese lady.
I think so.
But then it's like, oh wait, no, you will get an STI, and oh no, you will get pregnant, and I sound like the gym teacher from Mean Girls now. But like, I was like, fair play for a boys' film to show the reality of having an abortion. But then again, completely on the flip side, why did we need to get a nice full frontal nude shot of her while she was going through the procedure of the? I was like, wow, it's showing the procedure. This is so progressive and amazing, and it's like, but you still got to see the tits, just so you remember she's still hot and she's gonna stay hot.
That was very strange, because there's a way you could have shot that where it's like, okay, in keeping with what I think the intention of the movie is, which is show you the sort of adolescent male stupid ideas about sexuality, because like the scene with the Portuguese woman is almost like a teen boy fantasy. It's like a porno scene, right? And then there's in the second half of the movie, there's the three of them and another woman, which is the sex worker. And then meanwhile, like, she's berating them. She's not interested at all. She's like the complete inverse.
Mm-hmm.
It's dingy.
And
it's
I
dark.
did again like that it showed Gary being traumatized by that he wasn't old enough for that situation.
Bingo.
And I really liked that. I thought that was really good on the film for being like, you're rushing this. You don't need to rush this.
It's almost like this is what you like. The first version is like, this is what you think it's going to be in your head.
Yeah.
And when this is actually what it would be like. It's going to traumatize you. It's going to fuck you up.
Yeah.
Because you're actually a child and you don't understand how the world works. And you're going to get sick or your heart broken, or like there's consequences to love and sex.
Yeah.
I think is the point of the movie. And don't rush it.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to not rush into things to try to keep up with the status quo. Don't use people. Don't allow yourself to be used.
Yeah.
You're not entitled to other people's bodies. You're not entitled to sex. Like, there's real stakes here. Take it serious, but without being puritanical about it. I think that is the intention of the movie. That's my takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but where's I going with that?
It was the naked abortion scene.
Yes. And so there's a way that if you shoot that, it's like a contrast to all of the gratuitous nudity up front.
I think, the intention was she's being stripped of her dignity.
She's tiny. She's vulnerable.
Yeah, but it was still filmed with that 80s glossy.
It was leery. Yes.
Yeah, I felt like I was watching a Friday the 13th.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been more powerful if they would have changed the way that was shot. Mm-hmm. And because now we as the audience are forced to see her as a vulnerable human.
It actually would have been better if it was just a wide and you just see her completely naked, rather than where it panned, it was like lingering on the different parts of her body. It's like, no, show her full naked body, show her boobs as she's crying.
Show it clinical.
Yeah.
Yes. Show her humanity and show it clinical, and show that though this is a deeply personal situation, the love, or what she believes is love, the pregnancy, his betrayal, his using her, the cost of that, her giving something to him that she thought was special and he didn't give a fuck about it, and the abortion and her wrestling with that, and the shame that she's feeling, and how she has to hide it and nobody can know, and like humanize that moment. And then the contrast of there she is just in this clinical setting in the most deeply personal moment of her life. And you're right, it used the exact same camera movement as if it's like fucking Hardbodies. And like, look at these women on the beach. Ooh, look at their bodies. And it was disgusting. Yeah. It was disgusting. I 100% agree. And so I'm like, this movie is so close to being good. Yeah. Like, legitimately a good dramedy, a good kind of trick you. Like, you think you're getting one thing, and actually, kids, we're here to teach you a fucking lesson.
Like,
I love the ending, because the ending is like, fuck you, kids.
It was like tiny flakes of Ladybird and Call Me By Your Name. And I was like, I feel like parts of this film have inspired so many now better films.
Yes.
But it wasn't cooked.
That's another reason why I love you. That's exactly right. You can see where Gen X grew up with this movie and said, oh, we could do a better version of that. And that's where you're right. You get Lady Bird, you get Juno, you get these kind of, like you said, Call Me By Your Name.
It's the crying at the end. I was like, oh my God, it's little Timmy Chalamet all over again.
It's 100% it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give this movie all the credit in the world that goes so far against the culture of the 1980s, period, let alone a teen exploitation movie, that it ends on such a dark, sad fucking note. And this kid, and it's just the credits are rolling as this kid just
I literally just sat there and went, that's the end?
That's the end. Yeah. Because I'm so used to those 80s movies where the way a normal 80s movie would do it, even if it was about abortions, he would get her in the end.
He would walk into that room as the friend is trying to make up with her and hitting on her and gets a smooch out of her, but then she sees Gary and she slaps him and she goes, I don't need you anymore, and then runs into Gary's arms and everyone cheers. He gets thrown out of the party and her and Gary have a wonderful evening, and that would be the end. That's
exactly right. He gives her the locket with love from Gary, yada, yada. And he puts it on her freeze frame. Yeah. And then it's like, no, that's not real. That's not how it would work out. She's smitten with this boy, even though he's a piece of shit. And he was not a good friend ever, even though you used to think he was super cool.
Yeah. Here's the reality of it.
Terrible. Here's the reality of it. And here's the reality of you. You're not a good person just because you did one nice thing for selfish reasons.
And that's it, yeah, like it's such a nice, lovely thing to do, but he didn't do it because he was worried about her. He did it because he wanted to get her as his girlfriend.
And it kind of, the movie, here's where the movie is sort of smart. Because we see him start to maybe see her as a person. You know, he pulls her shirt down. He goes in there where he does, and so we're thinking, oh, again, like an 80s movie. Maybe he's learning his lesson. And then the movie's like, no. Because as soon as she's nice to him, he's like, my girlfriend.
But
and
then
we
again,
cringe. We cringe when he says that.
It is also, though, he's a teenage boy. So there is also like an element of reality of like, well, yeah, he's going to think he's getting something out of this.
Okay. Can you explain to our audience and for the males who are listening out there how common of an experience it is to have either a male friend or a male coworker or a male podcaster or whatever, and you're just nice to them like you would be a human being, and that becomes an open door of like, she's into me, she's my girlfriend, wants to be my girlfriend.
I'll be honest, I've not had too much of that experience because I'm an antisocial loser. But I will.
Who goes to music festivals 10 times a year?
Yeah, but I don't speak to anyone. God forbid. Like, please don't talk to me. Gotcha. But I will say, like, my experiences on Twitter of now, like, having a podcast and stuff like that. I definitely had the thing where I've met male podcasters at like podcast networking events and film networking events, and I've literally had them come up to me like, oh my god, you're Claire, I feel like I know you, and they'll just start talking to me about my personal life, and I'm like, sir, I don't even know your name, I've never met you, we are not like, this is some sort of symbiotic relationship that you've created by listening to my podcast, and the thing it does is immediately goes, I'm never going to speak to you again, I'm going to get myself out of this conversation as soon as physically possible, and I'm going to avoid you for the rest of the night. And I've definitely had that thing of like, I'm not anymore because I'm not really on Twitter anymore because most people aren't, but you know, in the pandemic I was very lonely, so I was very open about my personal life in the pandemic, and I think it came across as I was a person that shared everything, but ironically I wasn't. I actually did hold a lot back. I shared whatever I was comfortable sharing, but again it did, I met people then when things opened up and I went to like drinks and things in London that people just assumed, oh, well, I follow you on Twitter, therefore we're friends and I know all about you. And I was like, no. And then also, you know, there's the age old, I won't go into too much detail because no one wants to be bummed out, but I worked at a place where I was friends with all the blokes in IT. My now partner, we actually got together many years ago then, and then got back together recently. But I knew all these guys. Everyone knew I was dating him, but it wasn't common knowledge. And we all spoke about sex, and I was very liberal, and yeah, I can chat to the blokes about sex and all this. And a new person on the team then cornered me at a party and asked me to go upstairs to a hotel with him, having only had one conversation with me. And I was like, no, I talk about that with like the married men because it's a joke and I'm one of the lads. Like, I'm not actually going to go upstairs with you and sleep with you. Like, and ironically, I was like, cool, my new boyfriend is in your team. Love this.
Oh, man. And the way that these movies would have depicted that conversation is if he just gave you 3 or 4 more drinks, then it would have been okay.
Literally, that was how it went. He was like, oh, I'll come back and ask you again later. Because I was like, I panicked. I was like, oh, I'm having a really good time at the party. I don't want to leave. Thank you. No, thank you. And then he was like, oh, I'll come back and ask you in a bit. So then we were all the other guys left with me, and we went and had drinks somewhere else, even though it was a free bar. So that was very nice.
That is very nice, but Jesus Christ, yeah, and that's what makes. God, I don't want to jump ahead of the end, but that's what makes the shit kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
Because like it depicts like I said, the Last American Virgin. It depicts that scenario where we're going to coerce these girls into a party that isn't a party, to corner them, to see how far we can go with them. Mm-hmm. They're going to be kind of uncomfortable. The one girl's going to say, no, stop, when he kisses her. And then he's going to keep kissing her. But then she's going to be into it.
Yeah.
The girl with the big boobs, the blonde, is going to be like, no, I don't want to have sex with you. But if you just take her to the bedroom, she might change her mind. Yeah. And she does.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's with that.
I've been very lucky. Yeah. I went to an all-girls school and I'm friends with a shit ton of nerds. So again, we always had the like, leave no girl behind. We just wouldn't allow each other to go home with a guy at a club. It was like, no. If he's that interested in you, take his number and talk to him tomorrow when he's sober and you're sober. Like, we were very vigilant on that sort of behaviour because we've seen too many movies and we've seen too many creepy guys.
That's the thing.
But it shouldn't be the female responsibility.
No. And what the movie is saying, what the movie teaches, I think, impressionable men, these movies are, it's like you were saying, at the end, it's all going to be a laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No one's going to be traumatized. No one's going to be hurt. It's all just going to be a laugh. And then it's just going to be some sex. It's just going to be some making out. It's just going to be this. And you'll be buddies at the end and we'll all be able to laugh about it.
Well, it's like when men, smack your ass in a club and then you turn around and offended. They're like, oh, love, we're only having a laugh. And like, how did you think this was going to go? Did you think I was going to turn around and go, oh my God, you smacked my ass. I'm so in love. And then in 50 years, we're going to be like, well, how did you and Granddad meet? Oh, well, I was at a club doing shots and he stuck his hand up my skirt and there we were.
They do.
I know, that's the madness. But then you watch films like this and I'm like, oh, this is what they were taught.
But what's strange about it is I feel like women have been so vocal for so many centuries, but especially so many decades of my lifetime going, even to the point of going, hey, I understand why you think that, but here's how it actually works. And we go, no, you're just saying that. And it's like, what the fuck? But that's the attitudes in this movie too. Yeah. Even when the girl's like, that's disgusting. Because there is a few movies where the women are like, that's disgusting. Don't do that. That's wrong. And the guy's like, oh, come on, babe. Don't be,
And then she comes around.
Joke. And she comes around.
Yeah.
And I think that's the expectation is when you turn around and you haul off on those guys and say, don't give me a honk. I don't fucking know you. Keep your hands off me. I'm a person. They think they can turn that around into you laughing about it.
Yeah. With enough cheeky banter, any situation.
And when it doesn't work, that's when they get mad and petulant and dangerous.
Yeah.
Because the movies told me you love this,
so
right? Like,
have we turned into the old people that say that movies are the problem?
I had that question at the end of this.
Oh no!
Because earlier in the weekend, there's a new report that came out about it's another one of these reports that's coming out about how Gen Z is having the least amount of sex and blah blah blah, and all this sort of stuff. And so we were going through that. We were talking about that. We're going through that as and how did this happen? And how does Gen Z become so not just sexually conservative, but even like politically conservative?
Like,
they
don't go outside.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You can't have sex if they're in a different building.
Yeah, but why are they so attracted to autocracy? I don't know. It's just very strange. So we were talking about all that sort of stuff. And then at the end of the weekend, after we got through 5 of these fucking movies, she turns to me and she goes, maybe Gen Z is right. Because I told her about, and I know you've been a part of these arguments and conversations because I've seen it online in the old Twitter days, when Gen Z was dropping those chestnuts about basically comparing movies with sex and nudity as to sexual assault. And they were saying, I didn't consent to this.
Seeing this,
so therefore which I feel is diminishing of people who actually have been sexually assaulted.
100%.
You're not on the same playing field here.
It's diminishing real assault. It's also, to be casual about it, diminishing the art of acting, the art of storytelling. It's also diminishing media literacy, because if you're that worried, you can go, like, we have a website called Does the Dog Die? Where you can check if a movie, if a dog dies. Pretty sure there's websites you can check if there's sex scenes.
Yep, 100%.
And also, I don't know what you guys have, but we have the BBFC, like the ratings thing, and it tells you at the start of the movie.
Yeah, correct. Well, it won't tell you at the start, but it'll show. If you read the rating, it'll show you nudity and
at ours. At least when you go to the cinema, it'll come up with like a 12, and then it will have like profanity or brief scenes of a sexual nature. So you get like an idea.
Yeah. No, they put that on the previews, not on the actual movie. Yeah. So. But it's on the poster, so you should fucking know. Yeah. And it's Wikipedia, for fuck's sake. You would Google anything. Yeah. So we were talking about that, and she was on, my side at the beginning. I was like, this is insane. This is, and at the end, she was just like, maybe they're right. Because here was the conversation we had, and this is some dark shit. How many millennials, take our generation, have experienced some form of, even if it's just one time, one whatever, sexual abuse, molestation, rape, assault? I'm talking men, women, non-gendered people. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Anybody who fits in that demographic millennial. It's a lot of us. And maybe it wasn't ongoing. Maybe it was one time, whatever. Maybe it was ongoing. Maybe it was in the home. Maybe it was on a date. Maybe it was at work. But I'm not even including just like sexual harassment. I just mean assault, not objectification. Like that's it. Just assault, rape and assault. And so it's like, but it was so normalized and not a big deal. And then we were talking about it. It was like, you have these movies, and it's one thing that, well, they're comedies, so they're turning it up to 11. They're ratcheting up the vulgarity. The movies, I think, normalized that sort of thinking, but I don't think you could have released those movies unless it was already normalized to some extent.
Well, exactly that. Society is not going to accept it unless they consider it a part of normal society. They're not going to laugh about it if it seems abnormal. They're going to laugh about it. It's, yeah, like you said, it's blown up. It's a blown up version of these like peeping Tomness. I hope in reality there weren't thousands of teen boys in America literally hiding behind the wall in an all-girls shower. But I can imagine there were plenty of boys, if the door to the women's locker room blew open as they were walking past, that would have a little sneaky peek as they're walking past. So it's just 100%. It's just that blown up. I think. Or
if you're a grown man who buys a teen pageant and you walk in and the teen girls changing their clothes and they brag about it when you're president.
Oh, America.
It's just locker room talk. Boys will be boys.
But the problem with the whole puritanical thing of the Gen Z, I don't think it will make it go away. I think it will just put it back in the shadows and we won't talk about it anymore. I don't think it's actually going to stop the assault. I don't think it's going to stop the rape culture. Right. It's just going to stop people talking about it. And I don't know if that's the right answer. I don't think it is, but I'm not.
I 100% agree, because I think the puritanical sort of stuff, it actually just increases shame.
Yeah. And now I do subscribe that amazing article that went around a few years ago that was like, we all need to bring back shame. I 100% agree.
There's healthy shame.
We do need to bring back a good dose of shame. As a Catholic, shame has got me far. But yeah, like we shouldn't be ashamed of our sexuality. We shouldn't be ashamed of talking about assault. We shouldn't be ashamed of talking about rights and wrongs. The whole thing of taking away sex education because it makes people uncomfortable. Well, cool, but what are you going to do when you go to the hospital and the doctor does something inappropriate to you and you don't know whether it's inappropriate or not, and then you're going to go into a shame spiral, rather than having the sexual education so when the doctor does start doing something inappropriate, you can automatically advocate for yourself and say, what you're doing is wrong, stop.
Bingo.
Wow, we really made this very dark. I did say, when you asked me to do these films, I was like, how many times are you going to make me say rape and sexual assault? And here we are, lads. Here we are.
What was my response?
Yep.
Yep. You're like, you're really gonna make me say this like 50 times. I was like, yep.
Yep. And now I'm on a soapbox.
Yeah, but I think that of all the movies, this is the one that almost gets as close to saying a lot of the stuff that we're saying.
Yeah, it's. I'd be interested again. That's why I was frustrated. I couldn't find that many write-ups of it from the time. Because I would love to know, like, if there's an oral history or a making of, how much of it was changed to be, it's got to fit the sex comedy mold.
I had that exact same thought. Yeah. I thought, did somebody write this? It's more of a straightforward, like, coming-of-age drama with some humor to it.
Yeah.
But it's more of a, like, it has more in its mind to say.
You can literally cut out the prostitute scene, you can cut out the Portuguese woman scene, and there's a couple other scenes you can cut out and the movie stays exactly the same, and they're all the raunchy sex bits.
Yes.
And it doesn't change the film at all if they're not in it.
That's exactly right. Yes. 100%. I'm thinking, maybe the studio notes were... The way this, because it's kind of an independent movie, the way this movie got financed in the United States was they sold it as a teen sex comic because it had teens in it and it was about sex.
Yeah. I mean, the poster is literally Karen holding her boobs, which I actually think might have been a shot from the abortion scene. That's the only time we see her naked, isn't it?
That's true. Oh my God. Yeah. And so I think that maybe what they did was they modified it to where producers would want to make it in the United States and fund it, but they kept the subversive commentary in there and just made it maybe a little bit more implicit than explicit. but it ends on, I think, such a very powerful note.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I am still only going to give this a 5.
Oh.
And it's only my number 2, and I feel conflicted about that, and I'll explain it why when we talk about another movie.
I wonder if it's the same because it's my number 2 of the week as well, and I wonder if our number 1 is the same. Because I too had that conflict in that I enjoyed watching the other one more, but I think this one's a better made movie. But I was like, oh. Yeah, I gave it 7.4 out of 10, which is quite high. I can't argue with that. Yeah.
All right, we went from a movie with maybe a lot on its mind, more than it seemed, to a movie with nothing on its mind. It doesn't seem like it had anything on its mind. Just based on the title alone, it's called Hardbodies from 1984, and it currently has a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's me, Joe from Real Spoilers. I just wanted to get on here real quick and offer a heartfelt congratulations to Jason and the Binge Movies podcast. 200 episodes, man. Like it's quite an accomplishment. It's a lot of binging, and I've been involved with some of it. I cannot tell you how much love I have for Jason and this podcast, Binge Movies. Like I would stand outside the last video store in the universe with a boombox over my head just to profess my love for this show. Jason is truly the Big Daddy Cool Diesel to my Heartbreak Kid, the Tango to my Cash, the Hooper to my Brody, except for in the book, because that's a different situation. This man, I'm telling you, he can drop knowledge and factoids and all kinds of stuff when you're doing a show with him like nobody else. He doesn't just host the show. He curates a perfectly perfect list, a film fest, if you will, for you, the listeners. He's not doing it for him because we've done some bad episodes, not bad at quality, but yeah, whatever. He is truly the patron saint of binging chaos. I've been lucky enough to be on Binge Movies a few times, and every second of it I've loved. I cannot express to you how much I love doing shows. I don't care how long the shows are. They've never been hard times, if you will. And, you know, people ask me why I love Binge Movies, and I tell them straight up, because in a world full of pretenders, Binge Movies is the real damn deal. It's not just a podcast, it's a movement. It's a cinematic ministry, and the man behind the mic, Jason, that beautiful, dangerous American dream, baby, of movie talking. Let me tell you something. I've been through some hard times, you know. I've lived through Batman versus Superman. I've watched all of the Transformers sequels, and I've even watched Morbius. Only once. That's all I needed to do. Other than that, either way, those are hard times. But you know what pulled me through those dark days? When cinema betrayed me and all hope was lost? Binge Movies, baby. When I was down, Jason was there with a mic in one hand and a steel chair full of film criticism in the other. He told me what mattered. He said, "Here's the truth, brother. We rank, we binge, and we do it for the people." Jason is, whether he wants to admit it or not, the voice of the voiceless. Jason, I cannot tell you how much I love you, how much I love the show. Here's to another 200 episodes. Hopefully I'll be back after this promo. I may not be, but here's hoping. Again, congratulations to you, Jason. This is fantastic. Keep up the amazing work, and I'll see you on the other side.
Looking for an old-fashioned movie with good, clean fun? Then grow up and see this one instead. Hardbodies, the story of a boy.
Don't you know how crazy I'm about you?
One special brunette.
We're having in love with you!
And several hundred bikinis.
This could be my kind of beach.
Hardbodies, rated R. Starts Friday at a theater near you.
Hardbodies was directed by Mark Griffiths, and it was with a screenplay by Eric Alter, Steve Green, and Mark Griffiths, with a story by Eric Alter and Steve Green. How do you need that many people to write this fucking movie? I'll never know.
There were many characters. Each one was writing a different character. Also, there were like 3 films going on, so they probably all just smushed it. It's like a group project, and they all just smushed it together at the end.
That may be right. It's a triumphant return of Roberta Collins from Death Race 2000, and the triumphant return of Kane Hodder, last seen in the Friday the 13th series. I don't know when this was released. I don't care. On a budget of $2 million, it made $7.1 million. Titties are out in the credits.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. This was the last one that I watched because this one was the hardest to find.
Oh, it's on Tubi.
Not in the States.
It is, because I changed my VPN to Atlanta and watched it on Atlanta Tubi about 3 hours ago.
I don't fucking understand because it said it was on Tubi, and every time I went to it on Tubi, it told me this title is no longer available.
Oh, like I legit watched it. Like it's 8 p.m. now. I think I watched it at 2 p.m.
It shows up on Tubi. I hit play 50 times. I couldn't get the fucking thing to play.
Oh.
So I ended up having to find it in a circuitous route.
Fucking bullshit!
I don't know if I hate this movie because it is the end of 4 films that are all about rape.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the rapiest.
But, question mark.
Well, yes. Yeah.
This is the only one that doesn't actually have any sexual assault or rape in it.
Yes, but somehow it feels the rapiest. So that's what I'm getting at, Claire. I don't know if I feel this one is like, have I reached critical mass? Because I sat through this nauseous. I sat through this movie literally nauseous. I turned to my girlfriend and I said, I am sick to my stomach. And she was like, I think it's just all catching up with you.
Yeah, because I did not have that reaction to this one. Like,
I as I'm talking about it, I feel like I could puke. I'm flush.
Wow.
I feel sick. I hated every minute of this movie. I think this movie is absolutely tacky, disgusting, putrid, toxic male bullshit. It says, if women are dumb enough and you are scummy enough, you can trick them into fucking you. And Scotty teaches these creeps how to coerce women and effectively rape them through power and money and coerce them. And then he gets offended at the very last second when then one of them actually tries to rape. And he says, no means no. And then immediately proceeds to blame the woman for giving the guy blue balls because once you make him horny, they're going to want to fuck. And why do you keep doing this to yourself, Candy? And her thing is like, I just because I want to talk sexually doesn't mean I want to have sex. And then you would think, okay, maybe that's a lesson he needs to learn. And no, the movie just fucking ends. And yeah, he kind of has a half-ass come to Jesus where he goes to the girls in the rock band and goes, actually, I'm a scammer and a liar. And the entire concept that you dialogue to someone instead of dialoguing with somebody, I think belies the problem with all of these movies. They don't talk to women. Talking is something you do at women, as I'm doing right now to you, Claire.
No, I'm so fascinated by that take because I can't disagree with any of it. I just didn't have that opinion at all. And now I'm like, am I not a feminist? Because I'm like, I think.
Let me have it. Talk to me.
I feel like in my mind, it's like, well, they're rich assholes. And if you're a hot girl and you choose to go and sleep with a rich asshole, yeah, he is lying to you and he's not hot and he's old. But you can tell that it's all shit and you can tell he's not hot and he's old. But you can also see the car and the money and he's taking you out to nice places. And it's the thing I always get with 90 Day Fiancé, where it's an older guy and a really beautiful, like, European or African or South American woman. And all of the family are like, you're only after him for his money. I'm like, well, he's only after her for her looks. She got fat or ugly, he'll divorce her in 2 fucking minutes. So I'm like, I think that was my thing with this. I think this was... Every man in this movie felt like a completely real man. I was like, yeah, this is how men are. Like, I think that's why it didn't offend me. Because I'm like, yeah, men are skeezy dickheads who lie and only want to get into your pants, of course. Like, so I'm just fascinated that you, like, found it so egregious. Because I'm like, well, isn't this, like, every movie where the guy wants to get the girl? And then I respected the thing with Candy. Because, in fairness, like, that guy was an absolute scumbag. But she was literally in her bra going, touch me, I want to ride your dick. And then when he tried to give her his dick, she's like, oh my God, stop doing that. It's like, I mean, like, consent goes both ways, lady. Like, you do you have to look at what you're saying. If you're saying, I want to ride, what was her word? Like, your throbbing rocket, then he's
missile or whatever.
He's
love
probably
muscle or,
gonna try and stick his throbbing love muscle into you because you've just told him you want to ride it. So, like, I respected that it didn't go as far as becoming a rape scene, and I liked that they tried to have the conversation of, why are you telling men that stuff if that is not what you want? Because it's the whole, again, it's very odd tangent, but the whole thing of women faking orgasms, you're helping no one. Don't talk dirty to guys and say you want to do all of this shit if you don't want to do it because you're teaching them bad values. Don't fake orgasms because you're just going to make it worse for the next girl. Like, consent is on both parts. Men need to listen, but women need to be vocal. And that girl was the wrong kind of vocal. And that's why I'm like, am I not a feminist now?
Well, am I a bad feminist because I'm basically taking away agency and saying women can't have agency? I don't know.
The 80s!
The 80s, you're fucking with me!
Okay, we are cooked. We are absolutely cooked, chat. GG.
See, I wanted my version of the movie where Scotty accidentally becomes the manager to an all-female rock group and realizes that women are people.
Did you just rewrite Josie and the Pussycats?
Fucking love Josie
or Spice World?
And I love Spice World. So, it's just what I want out of life.
Does Scotty learn that women are people?
No, but I mean, he does learn that women have thoughts. I don't know if by the end of it he recognises that they're people, but he does recognise that they have brains. Because he lets the girls do the revenge and he lets the girls talk him into doing things. And he's happy to let his girlfriend go away to college. So he's like, oh, women, they can have thoughts and independent thoughts.
You know what you could do? You could have just deleted the Scotty character. These women save up, young girls save up for this whatever, rich assholes, scummy rich assholes come in. Take the whatever.
But women don't even need to be saving up for anything. They could just be the local girls and these skeezy ass rich guys.
That could be true too.
And just start hitting on them, which is basically.
I guess it doesn't have to be about the house at all.
No, it's just these men move into the house and some.
Yes.
And the local girls are like, ew, skeezy men.
Yes.
Though the Texan, or was he from Texas?
Yeah,
loved him. I was like, the minute he spoke, I was like, feel like he's going to be a good one. And then he turned out to be a good one, and I was like, good egg.
That was the strange part too, because yes, he was definitely written in a way to be like, because he's like, hey, we're here to have a good time or whatever, but it feels pretty weird that we're so old hitting on these young girls. Like, it just, I don't feel like it's very right, kind of a thing. And they were like, shut up, man, blah, blah, blah. And then they get to the house and he's like, he has to make them swear that no jailbait.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, and he's like, how old was she? Oh, 15. He's like, no. Everybody's got to agree, no jailbait. And they all agree. And then he's like, yeah, he's the only one. He's like, well, where's the romance? He's the only one that has any kind of conscience.
And the girl he connects with her through honesty. He tells her about his manure farm and stuff like that.
Correct.
Like, he doesn't lie to her. He's just like, I'm an old-fashioned guy with old-fashioned values. And the girl is like, I don't want romance. I want to go fuck. And he's like, well, okay.
Well, okay, that's right. And she's like, yeah, I want to have marathon fuck sessions. And he's like, I'm old. I can kind of fuck you a little bit, but I can't do all that. Yeah. Viagra hasn't been invented yet. And so, yeah. That's good. And then when he finds out that what Hunter's trying to do, because we got to talk about that, he's like, he helps them get revenge and he confronts them and is like, yeah, what you're doing with these girls isn't right because they don't know the truth. Yeah. And basically they can't consent to what you're doing to them. I'm like, my only problem with all of that is like, okay, finally, an old man who's not a creep in one of these movies. Great. Why did he go along with any of it earlier, though, at the mall and all that shit?
But he just wanted to get hot. He just wanted to find a girl. Like, he went along with a makeover. That is different than straight up conning women. He got a makeover.
I see. He was homophobic, though, and wouldn't let the gay guy cut his hair.
I mean, he's from Texas. I've just done an entire rewatch of King of the Hill. We can have hopes, and then there's miracles, and
I see.
I don't support homophobia, but sometimes we have to pick our battles.
Sometimes you got to pick your battles. He's not a rapist, so we got to let the homophobia slide for now.
Yeah, for now. That's for next. Yeah. That's the lesson in the sequel.
That's right. Yeah. And Hardbodies too.
Men can be hard as well.
shit, maybe you and I need to rewrite the movie, but it's women trying to find young hard bodies.
No, because have you not seen how many movies they've tried to gender swap and it never works?
Really?
There's so many bad gender swap movies of the last 10 years. Let's stop gender swapping. It doesn't work. Women are inherently different.
Well, okay, yeah, you're right.
A bunch of like they tried doing that. Cougar Town was originally about a bunch of older women trying to hook up with young men, and it didn't work. And they rewrote it halfway through season 1, and it became a traditional ensemble comedy, and about like just friends on a neighborhood. And they literally rewrote it so that the town was called Cougarville.
That's really funny.
I'm so pro Cougar Town, but it literally throws away the premise in like 5 episodes. Like, it becomes a wonderful comedy. If you've never watched it, it's delightful by the end, but it's very silly. And it's just about a load of people in their 40s post-divorce finding love again, when it was meant to be about older women getting laid.
Claire, every time I get on here, you make me a better person. You teach me something about art and how to write. And thank you so much.
That's all right.
And culture and democracy.
I mean, Cougar Town is 20 years old, so I don't know how much I taught you there, but
it's something I didn't know. So you make me a better man every time I come on. Every time you come on here, I give this a 0.5 out of 10.
Holy shit! Is that the lowest you've gone? Like, what is in that category of films? Do you like? You can't have a list because you've done so many episodes. But like,
that's right.
Do you have anything to pull from in your mind that you've given?
That's not the lowest of this week.
Sir!
I'm telling you, I stopped it. I'm telling you, I stopped this movie at one point, and I was like, "God damn, how much longer is left?" I paused it, and my girlfriend goes, "Jesus Christ, it hasn't even been an hour."
Get fucked.
Wow.
It was like 50 minutes.
I thought this one was okay.
She goes, "There's so much movie left." I was like, "I know."
Okay, like I don't want to have to be the woman defending Hardbodies on the podcast here, but like let's just give a little bit. Like, it's not the worst of the week for one, but secondly,
no, it's not. It's my number 4.
It has real characters. It has characterization.
Kind of.
It has growth arcs. Like I could tell all the characters apart independently. They all had unique individual. I'm because Porky's was my worst for the week. Everything gets measured about, and that was the one that I started with.
Yes.
So it's really easy to measure everything about coins. I felt like the
Rounder's character is that his name is Rounder because he's obese and he eats giant turkey legs, and he has a big hog apparently, and then he does the modeling scam that men do when they actually rape women.
Yeah, like
played for laughs.
I felt like he was there as the idiotic comic relief because they just needed a bonding agent in that trio. Yes. But I felt like it had individual characters. I felt like there was an arc. I mean, there was a tiny bit of growth, but I know it wasn't a lot of growth in the characters, but it is an 80s sex comedy, so any growth is positive. It had actually real written female characters. More than one. 2, if not 3 female characters with names that had agency, and some of them liked sex and some of them didn't like sex and some of them had morals and values. And yes, the main girl, he was able to talk her around really quickly because she was like clear uncomfortable with the scam. But then
I really liked though that she did stand and go, "This is disgusting.
Yeah.
This is wrong.
Yeah.
This you're coercing these women." Yeah.
And
I really liked that.
And like, it's not a perfect film. It's a film I'll never think of again. It's not one that I could personally recommend. But I do not think it is as awful as you felt it was. But I do also feel like you had hit your maximum. Whereas I, to be completely honest, am so brain dead after the last few weeks that I have lived that everything's just rolling. Everything's just rolling off me.
So you're saying you could have watched maybe 10, 20 more of these sex comedies and been all right with it?
4 or 5.
I see. Okay, all right.
That's
all
not.
right.
I mean, what I do want to do, I really, really want to rewatch American Pie and Euro Trip, and I've been saying for ages I really want to do an American Pie rewatch, but I can't because like that's gonna be rough. But this has made me want to do it. So,
thank God for small mercies. I don't know. I give it a 0.5 out of 10, and here's what the 0.5 I've given it for. This is the only movie on the list where a male character says no means no.
I like that.
And I said, finally, he shows up. He goes, "Hey, man, get your hands off her."
Yeah.
She said no. And when no means no, I thought for 1984 in a sex comedy to have a variation of no means no and have it be enforced was interesting.
Yeah.
It was a positive.
I also think it's the only one of the 5 that doesn't involve any element of peeping Tom, any element of statutory rape, and any element of whatever level of sexual assault we would call like photography and videoing. Because
no, it does.
He is taking photos of them, and they do think that he's a modelling agent, but none of those girls get their tops off because he asks them to. They all do it by their own choice. It's a teeny.
Okay.
But
you're right.
You know,
and the one who doesn't want to doesn't. But here's the thing, Claire. By this point, I was yelling at my TV again, going, "Honey, don't take it off. Honey, keep your clothes on. Honey, keep your clothes on." And so here's Mr. Sex Positive. Here's Mr. Talk about whatever on a goddamn podcast, and I'm begging the women on screen to not get nude because. Yeah, please don't give these creeps the time of day. Don't buy this scam, honey.
I mean, I think there's also, it's very unfeminist of me. I'm, from a much more progressive age. I'm 20 years on from these women when I was that age. So I'm just like, of course you don't go in the old man's house and take your top off for a photo. Are you stupid? So there's an element of like, these women are stupid. And like that makes me sound awful because I have to remember that like it kind of portrays them as potentially not very well educated. It was also like pre-internet, pre a lot of movies, so like you didn't know that was a scam. Whereas like I grew up with so many TV programs telling me like scam.
Yeah.
But there was a bit of an element of me. I'm like, if you're stupid enough to fall for that trick, then maybe you deserve to have.
They're also consistently drunk in all of these movies. There's so much booze in all of these movies. They're popping pills. They're doing coke. They're doing speed. They're doing hard drugs. They're smoking weed. And then on top of all of that, they're like every movie is booze saturated. They're chugging beers and doing shots and like so. It's like, okay, are they dumb or are they young and drunk?
No, that's it.
And then you got these grown ass men who are like, here, these are called panty droppers. Drink this. Ooh.
Yeah.
Fucking sickos. Fuck these people. Fuck this movie. What's your score? What's your rate?
6.7.
Oh my God.
I gave it. It's my number 3 of the week.
Oh God. All right. Well, I think we're probably going to agree on this next one, and I think the internet's going to cancel us for it. I'm talking about 1984's Revenge of the Nerds.
I don't think I'm getting cancelled, sir.
Okay. All right.
I think you're getting cancelled. Oh, wait. No. Maybe I'm getting cancelled and you're not. Oh, I don't know.
I'm saying. It currently has a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, crap. Binge Movies 200. This is Brad from Old Man Brad. And you know what? I am so happy, so happy that our paths have crossed. I'm happy that I was able to get Pearl Harbor through to at least to a final vote to try to move on. It didn't move on, but I think Pearl Harbor got robbed. Happy to see Hellraiser 3.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
This is Brian Scuttle of Sonic Cinema. 200 episodes is a staggering accomplishment, especially for an independent podcaster. It speaks to a desire to create something special and unique and worthwhile that ultimately falls on the creator and your intellect, your great passion for the subject. It goes noticed in every episode. It goes notice in every time you've been on a different podcast, including mine. And whether we are talking about the highest grossing movies of 1998, whether we're talking about Don Bluth and the war crime that is Rockadoodle, whether we're talking about cheesy Alex Proyas, Nicolas Cage thrillers, or whether we're talking about your own writing. It has been a profound pleasure to be a part of Binge Movies. You're one of the first movie podcasts to have me as a guest, And I will never forget that. And you are one of my absolute favorite people to talk to movies about. And congratulations on this great accomplishment.
One of the funniest films of the year. I laughed my head off. Sneak previews. It's gratifying, raunchy, and uproarious. The Nerds triumph. Los Angeles Times. It's really, really funny. I was rolling on the floor, as did all the other members of the audience. KHJ-TV, Los Angeles. And USA Today says, this is great stuff. 3 cheers for Nerds.
I'd link to that.
Revenge of the Nerds. Rated R. Check newspapers for theaters.
Revenge of the Nerds was directed by Jess Canoe, is written by Steve Zacharias and Jeff something or other, with a screenplay by, again, why did this movie need this many screenwriters? Tim Metcalf, Miguel Flores, Steve Zacharias, and Jeff Buhai. It's time for return of Anthony Edwards. Last season of Top Gun. He did this
Dr.
the year
Green!
before Top Gun.
Dr. Mark Green!
Yeah, that's right.
Smiled with delight.
I'm sure that there's more people in this movie. It's
John Goodman.
Return of John Goodman. It's for Arachnophobia. It's a triumph for return of the guy who played Toshiro is the voice of Leonardo from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies and the animatronic ones, Jim Henson ones. So this released July 20th, 1984, in a budget of $6 to $8 million. It made $60 million. It made 10 times the budget, basically.
Can I go first?
Yes, go.
If you let me edit this film and take out one 4-minute segment, this is an amazing movie. Just let me take out that scene, that sequence, and it's perfect and it's brilliant and it's funny.
Maybe 2.
Oh, the Darth Vader bit, yeah.
That's the one I was really talking about.
Oh no, I'm talking about the cameras.
Yeah, you're talking about the panty raid.
Yeah, well, and they literally video them without their consent for 2 days.
Yes.
That was the one that really got me. I was like, oh, I did like, though, that it wasn't all the boys. Our protagonist wasn't involved. He was in bed asleep. But yeah, if you can let me.
And Lamar wasn't involved either as a gay man.
Oh my god, how progressive! A black gay man,
And there's one joke about it.
Yeah.
And it's not played
at his expense.
Yeah. It gets close to the line, but his friends are not mocking him, they're accommodating him.
Yeah.
And even though it's playing upon a stereotype of the limp wrist, it's played for a physical a sight gag.
Yeah.
Not played for it's funny because he's gay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they don't care.
They don't care.
Because when they're throwing the party and he's like, we need dates. And
he's like, I got a date.
Yeah, and he's like, I know a bunch of people or whatever, and Booger goes, yeah, but they're all guys.
Yeah, it doesn't count as a guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can take out the videoing, and then you can take out what I guess is it does count as rape, right? If you pretend to be someone else,
100%.
Yeah. So
rape?
He
rapes her.
He rapes her. If you can take out those bits,
yes,
this is a damn fine fucking film.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
I and my girlfriend 100% agree because I have seen this movie a bunch of times. I grew up with this movie. Heavily edited, but I grew up with it. And so I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let it play. We'd already watched a bunch of these. Let it play, see what she says. Because she hasn't seen movies, let alone these movies.
Oh, you have one of those as well.
I do. And so I was laughing with her. I'm like, you haven't seen The Godfather.
Oh,
I've still not seen
But
you've seen Hot Dog the movie.
I've also not seen The Godfather.
But you've seen Hot Dog the movie.
Hot Dog the movie. But no, because I have too much power with him because I'm like, well, what movie should we watch? And then I'm like, what movie should we watch?
Exactly.
I got the show in Carrie and American Psycho for the first time, and I was like, oh, I have so much power.
Oh, great. Yeah.
He's a big horror buff, and I was like, you've seen, I still have to show him Lost Boys. He's missing out. He'd never seen any of the Scream movies,
Jesus.
I'm working on it. I'm getting there.
So she's like, I don't really see the problem with this one. She's like, other than like the racist stereotype with Toshiro's character. And by this point we'd seen other more racist Japanese depictions. Yeah. She's like, honestly, this one's less problematic than some of the other ones because he's presented as an actual human being. But there's ethnic jokes, but it's not deeply racist. Like, is that, it's just, and she's like, if anything, I like these characters. It's actually kind of sweet.
Yeah, I really liked all the characters in this.
And then, bam, when that penny, I said, just wait. And she's like, what could possibly happen that would make me turn against this movie? And that penny raid happened. The cameras happened. The rape happens. The selling of the nudes basically happens. Then what really got her and what really got me, because I knew that other stuff was coming, but I forgot this was coming, was when Anthony Edwards is Gilbert's giving his speech. It's all fine. He's finally had enough of the abuse. And the Tri-Lambs show up to defend him, which plays a little bit into that stereotype of got to be scared of big black guys. Okay, but whatever. So the big black guys show up. We're all scared. Even though the entire rest of the movie, the Tri-Lambs are shown as being like scholarly. Yeah. They're not ruffians. No. They're like they're also kind of like not nerds. They're cool nerds, or whatever.
They're just very well-educated men.
Yeah. Well-established, well-appointed, well-educated, serious men. They're not going to show up for a brawl over the college carnival for a frat. It just didn't make any sense. But fine, they show up, and I understood like kind of what they were going for, which is these men know what it's like to be discriminated against, and they're sick of it, so they're going to
being a nerd. It's the new racism.
Yes, that's where we're going. That is the moment when he's like, none of us are free until nerd persecution ends. And there's a row of black men standing right there defending this white guy's feelings of inferiority. I was just like, this is the most white privileged bullshit I have ever fucking heard in my life. But it made my skin crawl.
As someone who used to work in a university, it's full of white privilege nonsense, so it doesn't surprise me at all. And also, it was a movie in the 80s, so again.
But the idea of standing there in front of a group of black men and being like a group of any ethnic minority group, marginalized group, and being literally saying, being a nerd is the new black. We're the new black people in America.
I
was
in mental health training 2 weeks ago, in which we were talking about what stigmas in society can impact your mental health, and someone brought up race, and then the facilitator said, "Oh, like let's talk about that." And we were talking about like, black women face death rates higher than other people, lots of these things. And a little shitty 21-year-old as part of the training pipes and goes, actually, I think white men really struggle too, but no one ever talks about that, do they? I was like, sir, it is 2025.
Yeah, but he's not presented to us as a protagonist. He's obviously a bad guy.
True.
In reality, he's a fucking idiot bad guy. He's not the hero of the story.
He's a real person.
He is. Yeah. Gilbert is our good guy protagonist who's like, and like the heart of the movie, I understand. The heart of the movie is we shouldn't discriminate against anybody based because of their ethnic background. Just because somebody's Japanese, or there's actually like a Sikh or Indian guy who never speaks, but we see the turban. There's the guy that looks like Harpo Marx for some reason, but never speaks, which would make sense if he's Harpo. There's obviously like, I don't really know. Booger's not really a nerd, and I don't know why
he's just a burnout.
Yeah, he's just disgusting.
That managed to get into university.
Lamar is black and gay, and so it's like to say like we shouldn't discriminate. And like, oh God, I hate to say that the moral of the scene is, because we picked this apart this morning for hours, because we watched it a few days ago, and we picked it apart for like we just went over and over it, the two of us. So I was like, I think the intention of the Darth Vader scene is she's a biased person.
Yeah.
And if you removed her bias, she could see him because he's good at going down on women. I don't know.
It's that whole thing of like, nerds can be good at sex too. And I'm like,
yes,
they can, but that is still assault/rape. Like, you can't be doing that. And the fact that then her immediate reaction was, well, you gave me the best orgasm of my life, so I'm in love with you. I'm like, no, as I can say as a woman, I would be horrifically offended, like
traumatized.
I had a very nice night with a man once and did some very consensual things. It was all good. And in the morning, he tried to wake me up by doing some stuff that I had not consented to because it was morning. And I was just like, whoa. And it was very cool. And all was sorted and all was well. And he took it I was like, you just got to wait for me to wake up. We got to have those conversations.
Yeah.
But so she is no way a normal woman, no way an actual human being woman would have that experience, no matter how good the orgasm was. She would immediately go, wow, okay, that was actually really violating because that's not what I thought I was having.
Yeah. Can I also use a turn of phrase from your side of the pond? This is not an excuse or anything for this is separate to the rape. She's a cunt.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
She literally is the one who goes to the jocks and is like, the nerds are doing this now. Yeah. The nerds are doing this now. Those
nerds were just trying to live their life, and she starts all of it.
She started all of it.
Yeah.
Lewis goes to her and says, hey, Betty or Betsy or whatever her name is,
Betty,
would you mind getting a cup of coffee sometime?
Yeah.
By the way, nothing wrong with that. He's not a creep about it. He
takes her no. He takes her no, and he walks away. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he does go into incel culture later by videoing her and selling her top news.
That's where I'm going with it. It's almost like they changed Lewis's character.
Mm-hmm. The longer he goes about sex, it's like, well, he asked and he didn't get it. He's been nothing but nice, so he deserves to punish her now. And it's like,
yes, he deserves revenge.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: why would he want to be with somebody who is bullying to him, who is sent pigs into his house, who tried to humiliate those girls, the moos, and send them in to humiliate them, even though they turn out to be fucking awesome, by the way.
I know, don't call them moos. They're willing to hang out with you. All you've done all film is complain that you want to hang out with some people, and then you're like, these girls are fucked.
No, but that's the movie's name of their sorority.
Yeah.
They were the Omega Moos.
Yeah, but he's like, but you know it's because they're fat.
Yes.
It's like, sirs, you are lucky to get what you can get.
The pretty girls or the pretty sluts are the pies.
Yeah.
And the fat girls are the moos. But those girls, the nerdy girls, were awesome. And I do think the movie kind of subverts it and goes, actually, these girls are sweet.
Yeah, they're just pent up and repressed as much as you are. Because once they all get on the booze and the pot, they're down.
Yeah, and that scene was great because it showed two women actually consenting.
Yeah.
With the Poindexter, she goes, are we gonna fuck or what? And then he's like, yeah, and they start fucking. And then the other one is like, I want to take you upstairs, Lewis.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, what will we do up there? And she's like, and you go to your bedroom. And he's like, oh, okay. And then they go up and they have consensual sex. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it turns out these girls can dance and they're fun and they're smart and they can build robots just like you guys can. And they're nerds and they're outsiders, but they're awesome, cool, sexually open, autonomous beings. And I thought this movie gets that part right.
I was really, really pleased that Anthony Green stuck by his girl for the whole movie.
Yes, just like, straight through.
Yeah, just pleasantly surprised he wasn't like tempted by a pretty cheerleader or anything like that. That made me happy.
But the idea that one of the lead abusers, they're literally burning racial epithets in their fucking yard. Like they're like they're a fraternity, sorority, KKK, burning fucking crosses because these people are nerds. They're throwing rocks. It's all racism, Coda, because they're talking about like we can't have them here. They're going to destroy our way of life, which is the present conversation in the UK and America.
Yeah.
And like all of this shit, and then like, okay, I totally understand all of that. Those are the bad guys. Our lovable nerds are just trying to live their life. They're sweet. They've met their counterparts. Everybody's having a good time. The Tri-Lambs have accepted them because they understand what it's like to be marginalized. And I think the actors are doing good in their roles. There's good chemistry between the nerds. It's kind of funny. It's kind of sweet. It's kind of got a good message. And then that movie turns on a fucking dime, and Lewis becomes the rapiest of the rapists that we've seen, barring maybe one other person in all of these movies. And it just kind of kills this movie to some extent.
I think the thing is, though, it doesn't kill the movie because in the 1980s, that wasn't rape. And so that's what you have to watch it with your 1984 glasses on, because in 1984, that's not rape. And he's still the hero because he tricks her and wins her over. And so it upset me, but it didn't ruin the movie for me because I'm like, it's a 1984 movie. Of course.
But why would he even want to be with somebody who's one of his main abusers?
Because she's hot. But also,
that's also objectification.
He doesn't know that she's the abuser. They think the jocks are the abusers. They don't know that she's running off and telling on them, in fairness to him.
That is true. That is true.
like, it's a horrible scene now in, you know, the context of 30, 40 years later. 41 years. But that's a hero's journey in the 80s. And even in the 90s, like, I've seen plenty of my generation's movies where that twist is done. Maybe not to the full extent of actually having sex, but I've seen loads of trick, you know, switcheroo type stuff.
That's true.
It's one of those things that if you're going to want to watch a sex comedy from the 80s, you have to expect a certain amount of just yikes.
Wouldn't it have been a little better? Let's keep the 80s cliches where the main dude from Married with Children, the Americans will get that, Ted McGinley or whatever his name is, the main asshole, he's a philanderer. Mm-hmm. He's a asshole, and she's the sweet girl, pretty sweet girl next door type who's with the jock. She doesn't really like everything about him. She thinks maybe she could change him, and
bit like the girl from Hardbodies. I can't help but love him, but I judge his...
Yeah, there's reticence throughout the movie and like leave him alone, just let him be, you know. And then as he escalates his abuse, she's like, you know what, this is ridiculous. Maybe she goes and, you know, Lewis asks her out, she says no, and maybe even she goes and warns the nerds of like they're setting you guys up at the carnival, like blah 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 blah, and then. If she's the one that decides to sleep with Lewis, even if it's for comedy reasons or for something, but she knows what she's doing and she does it. And then the twist is he's amazing at giving head. Wow.
So I
that's different.
You can do it you can keep it as it was, but have it as just being that it's not a sexual act. Have him trick her, have him follow her into the room, and then maybe we stop it at a kiss. And like he takes the helmet off and they've kissed because it's dark. And then the lights come on. She goes, oh my God, you're not my boyfriend. And he's like, no, but I really like you. And he gives her some sort of speech. And then they get down a day. A surprise kiss is different to surprise sex.
Just don't do it in real life, boys. Don't kiss women on surprised. But I'm just, yeah. She needed to initiate the sex between them.
Yeah.
If she initiates it, and by the way, he's also sober. He's also in his right mind, right?
But the film,
if they're both able and willing.
The film portrays it as a hero act.
It does. That's his biggest, yes.
Yeah, like there's no it's he's the hero. He wins the pretty girl.
And he gets revenge on the jock by fucking his girl.
I do have to say I fucking love the line where she's like, how did you get so good at that? And he's like, well, jocks always think about sport. Nerds, we think about sex. And as someone who absolutely hates sporty men, mwah, chef's kiss of a line, 100% agree. Like, good work to all involved. Meathead football guys, get fucked.
My problem with the movie is it starts off so strong because there are some women with female agency, the female nerds. It's not entirely sex driven until it is. Like sex.
Yeah, this kind of has I feel like up until the point, this has the least boobs and the least sex.
Yeah.
And then
it's
suddenly,
just about,
really goes in.
Yeah, and it goes, it goes all the way, unfortunately. And so I can only give it like a 5.25 because it nosedives in a way that I think just gets worse and worse year after year. But it is my best of the week. This is the best of the sex comedies.
It's my best of the week as well. I've been much more positive, though. I'm giving it a 7.8 because I am looking at it through the lens of, well, what do you expect from a film from the 80s?
Fair point.
If they remade this now and still had that scene in now, absolutely fucking not. But you gotta take what you're given. I can still love Gone with the Wind, despite them all being Confederate racists. You know.
Fair enough. All right. Fuck.
Hot dog. In the words of Mickey Mouse.
They said it couldn't be done. Or was it that it shouldn't be done? Either way, you made it, Jason. Congratulations on 200 episodes, my friend. I can't even remember how I found the show originally, but my movie life is better because of it. Not because I've been exposed to countless amazing films like Hellraiser Judgment, the 10th in the series, but honestly because listening to you wax poetic about movies and films, both good and bad, has brought me so much joy over the years. Not to mention the cool movie friends that I've made from your army of listeners and also guests. Also, helping a frail, half-century-old Australian get one of his movies to the vault is possibly my greatest achievement in life thus far. So thanks for all the laughs and the solid discourse, Jason.
Looking for something interesting? Something tasty? Satisfying? Oh boy. Well, now comes hot dog time. It's Hot Dog, the movie. The wildest, hot, all-stop-stop rock and roll over celebration of the new year. Hot Dog, the fun-crazed, thrill-seeking party.
Opening Friday, January 13th at a theater near you.
Hot Dog, the movie, was directed by Peter Markle, was written by Mike Marvin. It's a triumph return of none of these people because other than David Naughton, none of them had fucking careers. It was released January 13th, 1984, in a budget of $2 million. It made $22 million, 10 times its budget again, 11 times its budget. It's called Hot Dog the movie because like a hot dog is like a show off. And so they were like showing off on the ski slopes because it's a lot of freestyle. He's a freestyler, he's trying to show off. Can I start here?
Yeah, go. It's your podcast. Do what you want.
This is the most decent protagonist of any of these because he never rapes. He never tries to rape. He's never interested in rape. He's only interested in consensual sex. He is, but yet this is the most racist depiction of a Japanese person on an episode that already has Revenge of the Nerds. It tries to follow the slobs versus snobs formula, but instead it's a series of limp dick cliches, unbothered and unburdened about being funny, interesting, or even mildly entertaining. There are no stakes. There is zero drama. There's a way that you could make this movie 10 times different, and it would be 10 times better each time. There is no real plot. It goes nowhere. It has one of the most egregious sexual assault scenes I've ever seen in a movie, and we just talked about Revenge of the Nerds, and yet it isn't even played for laughs. It's played for us to hate a villain who we already hate, and then it factors not one bit at all into the rest of the movie. The character who is sexually assaulted while being high and drunk and fed booze in a sauna, ostensibly gang raped or something. We don't know.
It's very unclear as to whether or not we're meant to think it's assault or if we're just meant to think it was revenge sex to get one up on him.
It has to be assault because she can't consent. She
Well,
can't talk.
she's very clearly uncomfortable as well. She tries to leave twice and he keeps coaxing her into sitting back down.
Yeah.
And also, it's the age of
she
consent,
never
16.
brings it up. What's that?
Age of consent, 16 or 18?
Well, in 84, I don't know, but it's 18 now.
Because she's 17.
I forgot about that part. Yeah,
That's why I wasn't sure, because it made me uncomfortable that the first night she's with the lead character, he doesn't try and have sex with her, even though he clearly wants to, and I thought it was because she wasn't, she was too young. But then later on they do have sex, very consensual sex and very positive, and, a fine sex scene for what it was, a cheap movie in the 80s. But I kept being like, is 17 legal?
I didn't catch that she was only 17.
Yeah, she is.
And how old is he supposed to be?
Gonna guess at least 18, because she's run away from home, whereas he is on the road skiing.
Right.
So I have to assume he's graduated high school.
Yeah, you're right. Fuck.
-5 stars!
If I could give this movie -stars, I would. I hated this movie more than any other movie on this list. There is no... Okay, David Naughton's character is an alcoholic. You think, well, he's washed up, and he's washed up because he's an alcoholic, so he's going to have to sober up to help the team win the triathlon or whatever the fuck. Nope. He's just a drunk all the way through, and every time he's drinking, it's presented as being funny.
Because he's a cool guy. He's American. He drinks American beer and plays American sports. Woo.
The heroes, David Naughton pours a bunch of booze into a fishbowl and gives it to a woman, and he calls it the leg spreader. She falls to the ground, intoxicated. Squirrel says, "That's a woman I could take advantage of."
Now, one of them does mildly challenge it.
I guess, but what the fuck was the point of giving her all that booze? to spread her legs if it wasn't to do it when she was passed out.
Yeah, because then he goes like, "Oh, that's working." Then and he goes, "Oh, that's when." And he went squirrel, and it's like, "Well, you're the one that got her unconscious, so."
Yeah, you're the fucking bartender. Yeah. That's your drink, motherfucker. You're exactly right. And then, okay, we have that, and then it's like, okay, and then we have the almost a replication of the same scene with her in the sauna because the pill's taking effect, and he's, oh, drink this beer. Mm-hmm. I'm going, okay, you're showing us it's bad when the bad guy does it, but we just watched the good guys do the same thing. Also, we introduce a female skier, Banana Pants. She disappears from the movie. We never hear or see from her again.
No, she died.
Where did she go?
She died. She fell off a cliff.
The teenage runaway says she's going to leave.
Never leaves.
Goes skiing once.
Yep.
And we're thinking, well, maybe she's going to have to learn how to ski at the last second. She's going to have to join the team. And she's going to...
I never thought that.
But there's never a mention of it again, except for the fact she has a confrontation with Sylvia. Maybe you're thinking, well, Sylvia fucked the young guy because he's an up-and-comer and she's trying to get her claws into him for his... No, she just fucked him to fuck him, and then there's no point to her in the rest of the movie.
No, because then she goes back on the European team, and I'm like, wait, I thought you were with the Americans now because you like fucking the Americans. Whose team are you on?
But it doesn't even factor in at all. And then, like, they're obviously cheating to win these things. Nobody really seems to care, but they kind of care. And like,
well, it's sort of established early on that it's not even that they're cheating; it's that the sponsors are all European. So no matter what anyone does, they're always going to let him win because otherwise they'll lose the sponsorship money, and then that just is ignored for the rest of the movie.
It's ignored for the rest. Yeah. And so, what is this movie about?
It's about ice ballerinas.
And that's the other thing. Okay, there's all this buildup about these macho men who just like to get laid and fuck bitches and, you know, trying to get broads and partying and smoking weed and drinking beer, like you said, America, blah, blah, blah. Then when we finally get to this, why they're all there, they're fucking prancing around like the queeniest of queens while also being horribly toxic and masculine. Mm-hmm. It's like these homophobes don't know how gay they are. This is the gayest thing I've ever seen. And yet they're all homophobes. This is what the big fight is over. The big fight is over who can prance and be frilly on skis downhill.
I mean, I guess if all you've got going for you is doing a few little kicks and bops in the snow, then you would be really mad about the girl having an orgy with the other people when she should be having an orgy with you. Because it didn't seem to bother him who was sleeping with who, as long as it was you can only sleep with everyone on our team. And you can only sleep with everyone on your team. So keep our teams separate.
I guess.
But they were all a bunch of losers. I think my letterboxd review is, I don't know how any of these people got laid.
There's no one likable in this movie. There's nobody to root for, and there's
I liked the runaway girl, Sunny. I rooted for her. I liked her. She had a bit of spunk to her. I don't know if, again, this was my third movie I watched, so I don't know if it was after Porky's and after Last American Virgin. Don't know if I was just happy to have a female character who seemed to have
dialogue,
an actual character.
Yeah. I'll give you that. I never quite believed her performance, though. It was like the tough runaway girl.
I wasn't sure how much of that was performance of like trying to be tough and run away, but she fell awful comfortable into that little world of skiing. It was a bit too convenient.
Yeah. I couldn't stand this movie. Okay. The first 10 minutes, I was refreshed and I kind of liked it. And like for what it was, because I was like, oh, we finally have a main character who's not going to rape.
What a positive thing to say about a movie.
Right? Because he's like, oh, I'm getting pretty tired. He's not, doesn't engage in any sex with her, doesn't try, doesn't coerce her, even though she's obviously like throwing herself at him. Mm-hmm. He's uncomfortable by it, doesn't do it. It seems like they're going to actually develop actual friendship or maybe even a romance. And they kind of end up doing that, but not really. And that's what this is. To me, this isn't a movie because it doesn't have anything in it.
It's a TV episode interspersed with ESPN Sports.
Yes. And I'm sitting there going, give me something. Give me anything.
I watched this morning when I woke up. I watched it in bed with one of the cats. I was at the Sabrina Carpenter concert in Hyde Park last night.
Ooh, nice.
And I didn't go home until like 1 a.m. And I woke up this morning and this is the first thing I did was watch this movie. And I just was like, anytime they showed more clips from On the Top of the Mountain, my eyes just glazed over.
Oh.
And then
there's
it's just too much. It's just too much. It's not impactful.
Was that impressive in 1984? Because I was not impressed by a goddamn thing that they were doing.
So apparently, from the few things I read, this movie became a cult classic because it's one of the few ski movies that has impressive ski choreography.
This is impressive ski choreography?
Back in the guy who wrote it, I think, was a pro skier or some sort, and he choreographed all the ski sequences. And it became a cult classic within the ski community because it shows actual skiers, I guess.
Oh, that would make sense.
Yeah.
But to get the money to get it made, he had to put a bunch of tits in it. Is that what we're guessing?
I'm guessing. Yeah, I kept kind of glazing over and I was like, wait, no, I have to pay attention because I have to talk about this on a podcast. And then it got to the point where I was like, I feel like I can talk about this on a podcast. Like, there is nothing happening here.
Nothing.
But it does get, I don't know, but it gets my line of the week. When I'm going to butcher it, but it's the end where he said, where they're like, we'll see you for a rematch. He's like, I'll see you again in Hot Dog 2. And I was like, wow, nice.
I was stumped. I rolled my eyes so fucking hard, Claire. I was like, we're breaking the fourth wall now? Now it's a spoof movie?
That's right. I was just there for it. I was like, you know what? We all know what we're in for. It's a shitty sports sex comedy. Of course there's going to be a second one. Why even pretend?
Is there a Hot Dog 2?
As far as I'm aware, yeah. I mean, there's a very similar movie that tried to come on Tubi after this finished that I actually wasn't sure if it was a sequel to it. When I search Hot Dog 2, it just sends me a load of hot dog restaurants. Let's have a look. Oh, apparently not.
Yeah, I have.
Aw, sad for them.
Sad for them, happy for me. Janet Maslin gave this a positive review where she said it was light and less moronic than it might have been.
You know what? Don't disagree with that, though.
I do, man.
It could have been a lot more moronic.
They have a Japanese character who they call Kamikaze. He wears a fighter pilot helmet like World War II and the Rising Sun bandana around it.
An ex-boyfriend of mine went to secondary school in the north of England, and they had one Japanese boy, and everyone called him Dragon, and no one ever knew what his real name was, nor cared to learn it. They just called him Dragon. That was in the 2000s.
Why do you keep telling me how bad reality is? Every time I'm like, this movie's terrible, and you're like, reality is worse.
Reality! Movies are an escape.
Here's what it's like to be a woman. Here's what it's like to be a minority. Here's what it's like. Oh,
I think that's why I'm like, these are all just silly and stupid, and I'm not surprised.
Because reality is that much worse.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we had the heaviest episode in the history of the show talking about sex comedies. So give me your score and give me your rank for Hot Dog the movie, because my score is 0 out of 10. And I give this
big yikes. Big yikes. I can't, like, my rule is I can only give it 0 if it's completely incoherent and doesn't make sense as a story, and I do feel like that, even for me. I gave this 5.5 out of 10. And it is my 4th of the week.
Hey, this is David from the Piecing It Together podcast, congratulating Jason on 200 episodes of Binge Movies. Has it really been 200 episodes? I feel like there's been an issue with the count here. It's got to be at least 400 or 500. I feel like I've been on 200 episodes. There's something going on here, something fishy. I wouldn't trust that guy. Anyway, congratulations, because the show is awesome. Everybody loves it. And keep doing what you're doing, because it's always a fun time to be on it. It's always a fun time to listen to it. And congratulations on, with a big asterisk, 200 episodes.
Okay. Well, it's time for a recap. Coming in dead last is Hot Dog the movie. It stunk. 0 out of 10. Coming at number 4 is Hardbodies, 0.5 out of 10. Coming at number 3 is Porky's, 4.5 out of 10. Coming at number 2 is The Last American Virgin. It was almost the best of the week, but it fell just short, 5 out of 10. And the best movie, the best sex comedy of the 1980s is 1984's Revenge of the Nerds, which I give a 5.25 out of 10.
Coming in last of the week for me is also Hot Dog, which I gave 5.5 out of 10. Coming in fourth is Hardbodies. Oh no, I just completely lied to you. Ignore me. Let me do that again.
Yeah, you did.
It's because Porky, they were in the wrong order. So coming in last for me is Porky's with a 4 out of 10. Infamous sex comedy that does not deserve its title. Coming in at number 4 is Hot Dog, which is a 5.5 out of 10. In number 3 is Hardbodies, which I gave I believe either a 6 or a 6.5 out of 10. I can't remember now. Number 2, almost number 1 as well for me, is Last American Virgin, 7.4 out of 10. And again, the best of the week is Revenge of the Nerds, 7.0 out of 10. And I think it deserves it because I can see its influence over hundreds of things that I have watched in my time on this earth.
I would agree.
But my recommendation of the week would be Last American Virgin.
Yes. If we're going to do a recommendation, I too would say The Last American Virgin. Just ignore all of the sexual assault of minors.
I mean, that's just across all of these movies. Because even in Revenge of the Nerds, there's like an 8-year-old boy or maybe 12-year-old boy.
That's right. Oh, shit.
And he's just watching naked people. And it's like, I think he thinks he's consenting, but I don't think you can consent to things at that age.
Oh, fuck. You did it again. On our next episode, we'll be talking about some of the top grossing films of 2009. We're finishing that decade off. I'm done with it. After these next 2 episodes, we'll be talking about Up, The Twilight Saga, New Moon, Sherlock Holmes, Angels and Demons, and The Hangover.
Truly, I think that might be a worse lineup than this.
I almost asked you to come on for that one.
I could talk about Up until the cows come home, but I don't want to watch Angels and Demons. I've managed to escape that. If you want real trauma, and the most traumatizing sex movie I've ever seen is The Hangover 2. A man gets literally raped in that movie, and it is played for laughs.
Yeah, we are absolutely cooked, chat. GG.
Hey, Jason, this is Patron Elite Jason. Just wanted to say congrats on 200 episodes. That's quite the feat, especially knowing how much time and effort you put into each binge movie season. It's because of your show and your binge movies challenge that I've been able to connect with other sickos who like the good, the bad, and the anti-vault movies. Not sure what the future might hold, so if there's not 200 more, here's for however many more there are, and binge on.
All right, Claire, you're not here telling me how bad and dark and sick and perverse the world of patriarchy is. Where can we find you now?
You can mostly find me on Instagram. It's Claire Ellen Hope on Instagram, where I'm mostly just posting pictures of my very male cats. And patriarchy, man. I live with a bunch of cats now who are all male, and it's very annoying. And yeah, I'm still around on Twitter. I'm around on Letterboxd. One day my podcast will come back, but we are 2 very busy, burnt out women with ADHD. So, you can see where that's going.
Understood.
One day, we hope it will come back.
Yeah, we all hope W-Rated comes back.
And I am a judge on the British Independent Podcast Awards. We are hosting our 3rd annual awards this October. So keep an eye out on that if you enjoy independent podcasts, because we always pick a load of amazing podcasts. So you can pick up a new favourite.
Okay, well, I have been exhausted by these movies. I have been demoralized by these movies. I've been traumatized by these movies. And I want to puke because of these movies. And I'm sorry for putting the listeners through it, but I'm grateful that Claire brought the wit, intelligence, humor, insight, and darkness that she does. You know that I always love talking to you. and I'm glad that you're willing to do this. Once again, I just have to say I'm sorry.
No, I've loved it. I'm always happy to come here, and it was nice to dust out the old podcast mic again. So thank you.
There you go. All right, well, until next time when we talk about Twilight Saga: New Moon.
Hey, you can talk about like sexual politics in that one because they keep making it count how many times they make Jacob take his shirt off and then read about the damage that did to that actor. You just can't turn me off.
Oh, God.
This is Paul from the Countdown Sometimes podcast. And of course, one of your regular co-hosts over the last more than 10 years on your way to 200 binging episodes. An incredible achievement, all jokes aside, from an individual who I consider to be one of the behemoths in the indie podcasting movie review landscape. You have been a source of inspiration and encouragement and an incredible friend. You know, all jokes aside, and the way that we banter back and forth when we are on each other's episodes, I really, truly do feel that. And for someone I've never met in person, we've just got to stare at each other through a screen across the other side of the world. I feel like this connection that we have is pretty special. And, before I get too sentimental, you drive me insane with some of your takes on films, and I think that really adds to what we can bring when we are together. But it's not about us, it's about you. And your insightful, intelligent, no stone unturned analyses of films really is second to none in the podcasting landscape, let alone the indie podcasting landscape. And to be celebrating 200 episodes is just remarkable. So my hat is off. I'm standing. I'm about to applaud, but that would sound bad on a microphone. I want to say thank you so much for all that you've done to entertain us over the years, Jason, and wish you all the very best for whatever comes next, however many episodes are about to come on Binge Movies, or your next venture out there in the creative landscape. Do indeed binge on.